Good morning.
Morning.
Sorry for the delay. I start Zoom and it's like installing updates. Great. Wait, do you have an actual Zoom mic?
Yep.
They make mics?
No, it's actually an audio company.
Oh, it's a wooz. Okay. Is it?
What's that?
Is it a wooz or a moose? Or no, wait, would it be moose? No, it doesn't work that way. But it works this way. Wooz. Sounds cool. All right, so what are we doing today?
So I had an epiphany last night.
Is
And
it that you don't want to create this product?
something similar.
Oh
But
crap. I was kidding.
I was thinking we're working way too hard on this. I'm like, we are enjoying the process, but I'm like, what would the millionaire versions of us be doing? Like, how would we be doing this differently if we were like, yeah, we don't need any money. We're not hiring anybody to do this. Like, we're doing this for the fun of it. What would we be doing differently to make this launch go faster, to make it more effective, to actually solve real problems instead of what we think is, what people want? And I was like, okay, there's something about us staying in our bubble of just talking and trying to do the work instead of building it with the people who actually need it. So I don't know exactly what the next steps are, other than I'm like, if we were like Russell Brunson, like, I'm gonna build a brand new thing because here's a problem that I can solve, that I want to solve. What would those guys be doing differently? And let's do that. Like, how can we launch this in the next month? Because you've put money down, you're here to work on this. Like, you paid a lot of money for their apartment. I'm at the stage where I'm like, it's either make this work or go get a job. Like, I can't stay at my parents' house for, more than a year. So it's like, this needs to be, big boy pants time. Like, instead of doing it the way we would do it, how would we do it if we knew what we were doing? How would we do it if we were smart? Or how would we do it if we were dumb? Rather, it's like, how would we do it where this is going to work because we're doing it the right way?
I like what you said. How would we do it if we were smart? Which implies we're dumb.
Yeah.
But also something that you said, because with this new mindset of like, all right, if we were millionaires, and it's like the statement you made of like, you paid a lot of money for your apartment.
Mhm.
I paid a little under $1,000. That is not a lot of money. It seems like it because I'm traveling, my budget is very limited.
Right.
But from this millionaire mindset, like $1,000 is nothing. Like
Right.
$1,000 is 1,000th of a million. Like that is ridiculously low.
Yeah. It's like an expensive lunch for your team.
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because, number one, we haven't had like a real like floating session where we're just like, yes, this is it. And I feel like we've been riding off the back of that one where we're like, okay, the 5-minute Facebook group, there's something here. And we started talking to people and they're like, yeah, this is something. But we've been kind of coasting off of the momentum of that. I'm like, all right, how do we bring in some new inspiration and some fresh energy? But last night I was laying in bed, I was listening to some music as I was falling asleep. And I had this I was in that halfway, I wasn't asleep. And I was kind of in that dream state where pictures and visuals and stuff, it wasn't like in full color. It was sort of like I was aware that I wasn't sleeping and the stuff that I was experiencing wasn't reality, but it was in that kind of dreamy state. And I was in this like transit station or like I don't know what you call it, but like this big amphitheater with like big glass dome where you could see out over the city. And this was like kind of like a central hub. It was like train station or like like bus depot kind of place. And there's just tons and tons of people everywhere. I was like, okay, I want to go out like and look at the city. I want to like get to a vantage point where I could see. And I started walking. And in my head, like because I was starting to fall asleep. I was in this dream state. It was like this weird, it's like everything kept changing and adjusting and stuff. But it wasn't like reality. It was like I kept walking and I kept walking and I kept walking and I kept going past people and I got further and further and further and further, but like I was never getting any closer to the window. I was like, okay, wait a second. So I started walking a little bit more determined, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get there. And I just kept like the world just kept like expanding and opening up. Like the more that I went, like the more that I was like stuck in the same place. And I realized like I'm walking, so the universe is showing up. It's like, oh, that's what you want to do. I'll extend the runway so that you can walk, because that's the action that you're embodying. So that's what you need, is like a place to go. So I'll provide that. And I was like, holy shit, like I am like this entire world. And by what I'm doing, I'm creating the outcome by what I'm doing. So I was like, okay, so I would just want to be at the window. I want to go look. And I was like, there. And it was like, by walking, I was telling the rest of everything else. It's like, well, I want to walk. So it's like, I want this experience. And I'm wondering, it's like, is by trying to figure out what the market wants and like put it together in a way that we're like enjoying and like writing the sales pages ourselves, like, are we doing the same process of like, we're walking, so the process just keeps like extending, instead of like, maybe we should just like pick a date and say, this is when we're launching and we're going to get, we're going to have a $5,000 launch and have a clear path to how do we scale this in a way that like we don't do all the hard work of fulfilling and stuff, and just like set like, this is where I want to be, this is where I want to be, this is where I want to be, and then let the pieces fill in from there. Instead of like, I think what happened is we got this idea and we're excited about it, and we're like, oh, like, let's work on this, we're excited to work on this idea, and so we're having fun working on it. And it's like, until we say we want to stop, it's like we're just going to stay in that space of enjoying, continuing to fiddle and work. And I don't know, that's the analogy. I don't know that it plays out as a one-to-one in this version of reality, but I'm like, I feel like that's what we're doing. It's like, how can we do this the way that people who have done this before, and do it like people who say, if I had to start over from scratch in 30 days, this is how I would build like a sustainable income. And then you read stories like I just saw ClickBank sent me a thing that was like, these guys launched a business. In the first 30 days of their business, they created like a 600,000 annual income which is like what did they say? A run rate, which is like assuming that their sales and trajectory match what happened, like the sales that they've made in the first 30 days. If they can replicate that and stay on target for their plan, it's like they'll make 600,000. But it's like, how do you do that kind of a launch where like you exceed expectations, like you meet and over deliver for everybody, and I'm like, how do you leverage everybody else's take advantage of what everybody else is good at and make it profitable for them and useful for them in the process, so that it's like we have other people who want to help us make this successful, because it's going to help them too.
It's funny because when you use that as an example, I was thinking like, all right, 600,000 in 30 days. So let's say they made like the same amount. The plan is to make the same amount every month. I'm like, well, that's only 50,000. I'm like, wait, only 50,000? 50,000 in a month is a lot.
Yeah.
And also, in the interest of floating and how the world seems to kind of like represent floating, the dream slash non-dream you were describing
Mhm.
is very, very, very similar to like a scene in the last book that I wrote.
Mm.
And it's like in the book, the main theme is like his mother is like trapped within her own mind
Mhm.
and being controlled by someone else, and he needs to enter her mind. And the way to do that is to enter the person who's controlling her, enter their dreams, and then like find the location of where she's being held basically within the dream and access it. So there's a point where it's like he sees the door and he's like, I
Mhm.
just need to get to the door, open it and cross it, and
Mhm.
I'll be on the other side.
Right.
And he's trying to run and run and run, and it's just like he's not getting any closer.
Mm.
And I'm just like, as you were describing, I'm like, holy crap, that's exactly what it was. And it's like, you're like kind of dreaming, he's in a
Mhm.
dream. It's like there's so many elements that were the same. I'm like, well, that's funny, especially since I wrote it like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's like things like that just remind me that like time is a made up construct.
Mhm. So I don't know, like, do we just set the intention and then go from there? I mean, part of me is like, okay, well, maybe we should be having these like sessions, just stream them like into a Facebook group. So it's like if somebody happens to like watch it, they're like, huh, what are you guys doing? Like, tell me more about it. And then like we might get a couple of people to just give us feedback in real time as we're doing it. I saw an interesting post yesterday that was like, do your people, do your clients do better with workshop style teaching, or like do it yourself like courses? And everybody said that their people show up and like implement better in workshops. Like the live element of it just like has built-in accountability and I guess urgency. So people tend to value that a little bit more.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that's really interesting feedback. Maybe instead of making somebody show up every day, it's like, well, let's meet once a week. And this class is all right, everybody go here and do this. And then, it's like you've put in your time for the week or something. I don't know.
Hmm. It's definitely an interesting question, but I think it's not one that we can answer now. It's more
Right.
later down the line we see, okay, maybe a pre-recorded course isn't the best option and we decide to tweak that. But I think
Mhm.
that until we figure that out, there's no point in really trying to figure it
Mhm.
out.
Okay.
Regarding what you were saying before about like we should just select a date, I've always been, well, always, I've been working with the unsaid assumption of the course, like the funnel, everything's going to be ready by the end of the month.
Mhm.
And then we'll have like 30 days to prepare the launch. And then kind of like September 1st, we launch. Like that's kind of the timeline I had in my head, even though we didn't necessarily say we do exactly that. In my head,
Mhm.
that's kind of how it was working.
Cool. Okay. Well, that sounds pretty reasonable. I sat in on a class that a guy, he's a billionaire. And this wasn't like a like a sales pitch. It was like a friend of mine invited me to this. He was coming in to speak to their group. So this is like a legit billionaire. He wasn't trying to sell anything. He was just sharing some stuff. And he said he had a guy come into his office. He's like, I'm just really struggling. Like, do you think you could take a few minutes to help me? So he's like, all right, tell me what's going on. So he runs down this list of all of this crap going on in his life. And he's like, my got bills, like, my relationship's falling apart, like all of these different things. It's like, I have no way out. I don't know what to, so he's like, okay, so I want you to make a list of all of these things, write them down on a piece of paper. Okay, now I want you to come up with an idea for each one of those. What can you do about that? And he just made him like, okay, what could you do about that thing? And go down the list, like, how would you solve those things? And he just broke it and made him break it up. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this to get started. And then that's how I finished that. And it's like, and so then he said, okay, how long do you think it would take you to do that? He said, I don't know. I'll probably do that in a month or 6 weeks. And it's like, how's that feel? Like, it's like, he went from, I have no way out of the situation that I'm in to like, okay, I feel like this is doable. And he said like, and so then he said, all right, I want to challenge you. Can you do this in 14 days? Like, get all of this stuff off of your plate in 2 weeks and finish it. And he's like, he was like, didn't know what to do, but it's like, he came back and he did it in 2 weeks. He got all of his things that were giant fires in his life put out in 2 weeks. And so I'm like, okay, could we do this? How would we do this if we were going to do this in a month? Like if we were going to launch July 31. Can we? Who would we ask?
The thing is, I wouldn't feel confident asking until we have like at least a decent funnel. Because like now we have the funnel built out, we just need to kind of like fill in the sales copy and record the videos. It's like, okay, we still need to do the webinar opt-in page, but like that shouldn't be that much work. Like everything that comes after the webinar is pretty much already built out. Like, of course, we still, because the thing is like, as we do this process, I'm realizing like there's a lot of technical things that I don't know how it works yet. Of like, okay, I created a sales page and there's all the forms there, but it's like, how do I connect everything so that everything works properly?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I've never done this before.
So
anyway, that sounds like bullshit excuses.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I've heard several people say they've done like, 5 and 6 figure launches, or maybe not 6 figure launches, like 4 and 5 figure launches, I think is what I was trying to say. Like they didn't have a website, they didn't have a sales pitch. They had like a link where you could pay them. And then they would do a Word doc that they would just have people read and say, like, what is this? How does this sound? It's like, is there anything that's missing? And you just do that over and over with people who are potential customers. So, I mean, if we literally just had a place where they could pay, it's like, if they say yes, you're like, okay, you're ready. Like, if you're in, here's how you sign up. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. There doesn't have to be any email follow-up, no whatever. Because the goal is to just get like the first, like if we get the first 5 sales or something, I mean, that is social proof. You can be like, hey, we just got the first 5 people into our offer. We're really excited about it. And if you have something that people have bought, or even one person has bought, you don't have to build anything. You could talk about it. Be like, here's the outcome we get. Here's here's the feedback that we got. Here's what we changed. Here's the who you can be, the promise of what we're doing. It's like, we're really excited to do this. And I think some honesty of like, we want to get enough people in so that we have the money to like do it right. We want to have, some fun. So it's not just paying us, but it's like, we have some money to like hire the help that we need to make this, like, this is going to be really, really good experience for everybody. Because honestly, I think that's the answer. It's like, just sell it over and over and over and over again, so that you have enough money that almost all of the fulfillment, other than like the roadmap of here's what probably needs to be made or done, like everything else could be outsourced. Like we can find people on Fiverr to like whip out PDF resources for us. And like, I could probably find a couple people who teach Facebook groups, and say, hey, do you have an hour? Can you come teach something in our group, whatever, break that up into steps or whatever. If we really were clear on what is our job, and then make everybody else, like, find a way that everything else gets done in a way that's not us. Because I think as long as we are having fun playing in the sandbox, it's like the universe isn't going to shift from a static space to like, oh, we're moving forward towards this goal. It's like we have to.
I agree with what you say, but at the same time, I disagree.
Okay.
So I agree with everything you said and described. The only thing is, okay, part of it is that, yes, I do enjoy building out the funnel, even though like in the process, sometimes it can be frustrating and it takes a long time. Whenever I'm done and I look back, I'm like, that looks really good, really professional. And every time my thought is, once we build this out once, we can come back and create as many courses as we want and retake this exact framework and just fill in the blanks, basically.
Right.
So for me, it's like, I realized like, yeah, we could be doing this faster and get results quicker, but I'm just like, I want to do this right. I want to set it up and take our time a little if we have to do this right. So that even though like you're saying in the beginning, we could literally just do Zoom and have like a payment page and that's it. Like we don't need anything else. But it's like, if we take, let's say, a week just to build out the funnel beforehand, and it makes it more professional, it's probably going to increase conversions. And at the same time, we have something to tweak as we get feedback. Whereas I feel like if we kind of go the route you were suggesting of like, hey, just do like bare bones and start getting results, I feel like at some point we're still going to have to go in and go through this process. Even if we don't do it ourselves and hire someone, knowing us, we're going to want to go in and tweak things so we're happy with everything. So we're still going to have to do this process at some point.
Sure.
And I'm the type of person who likes to preload the process. So it's like, I prefer going in and working everything out, even if it's not perfect, even if the copy isn't there, but like the system is there. And then we can just kind of like go in, fill in the blanks, start getting people through it. And as we do, we get feedback and we tweak everything. Because like, I'm looking at this process and this funnel that I'm building out, and I'm comparing it to, all the other funnels I've ever been through. It's like, including Russell Brunson funnels, like even his funnels, they seem clunky to me. Like the steps and the structure and everything is amazing.
Yeah.
But the look of it, it's not that consistent. Whereas like, I'm looking at the funnel that I built out, and it's like every page is the same enough that people like understand. It's like, all right, step one, step two, like it's very clear and logical, and the theme is very similar. yet different enough that they're like, okay, this is the next step. Like I understand.
Mhm. Right.
And I see like so few funnels that actually do that well.
Is that, I wonder if that's because it's not important, or is it because they've split tested that having different like registers more attention?
Hmm.
Like, I mean, my uh default assumption would be like, I probably can't do anything better than somebody like Russell Brunson. Like I should model what he's doing until I get the results that he does. And then say, well, let me try something that I haven't seen from him. Cause like I have no way of knowing what I'm not seeing. It's like how many
Yeah.
hundreds of versions has he tested and tried? I don't know that it's necessarily, it's like that could be one of those things. It's like just a little extra spit and polish that, you know, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe they've
Maybe.
found it's like you just need them to get enough of the idea, and it does like really doesn't matter like how fancy it looks. In fact, that's probably a good way to um, repel people who just want to pick stuff apart instead of actually buy. I don't know. I really have no idea.
Yeah, it's true. It's just I I don't know. The reason why I'm doing this is because I look at myself and other sales funnels and things like that, and it always like it kind of like bugs me when it's not consistent. It's like, let's say the sales page is one way and then the like, I don't know, the order page is like completely different. It feels like
Mhm.
a completely different product. And there's like that interrupt.
Right.
So I don't think it's that important, the actual look and layout. It's more the
Right.
consistency that I think is important because
Yeah.
then like there's that smooth journey throughout.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. That is one thing that I feel like I see a lot in uh, churches. It's like the level of transition from one element to the next. Like almost almost no churches do that well. It's like if you're a small, like a normal person's like, this is my local church. When you go, it's like this is a group of people getting together and just like having a service. It's not in any sense a professional like sculpted experience. Whereas like you go to a mega church or some place that has a staff and people watching those things, they're like, oh, this is actually an important part of the process, is making the whole thing cohesive, making it flow, making it feel like one entire element that was thought of instead of like, okay, now this guy is going to get up and now we're waiting for him to get off the stage. And like, that guy is like taking his time and he's talking to and he runs up and it's like, whatever. um,
I
and I
feel
think
like
there may be some element of that at play. It's like, most people just don't care, so they're not going to go to that extra step. But
mhm,
like when you see the little bit extra, it's like, this is like really nice. Like, or I mean, you're not even really thinking about it, but
yeah.
you're just in the experience.
I think that's it because Russell Brunson is very big on perfecting things.
Hmm.
But I think he focuses his perfection on the process, not on the look of it. So it's
Yeah.
like we definitely need to do that. We need to do the webinar over and over and
Hmm.
over again and get to the point where
Yeah.
it's perfect. And the same for the copy and everything else. And
Mhm.
like I feel like he's so focused on that that he doesn't necessarily take the time
Hmm.
do the same for the visual experience. But for me, I'm a
Yeah.
very visual person. And I know that if there's a pattern interrupt, it's gonna like disrupt me.
Mm.
It's like even though I know in the grand scheme of things it's probably not that important, it's something that I'm good at.
Hmm.
I'm like, might as well do that. And then
Yeah.
we have the look and the structure that's in place. And
Yeah.
then we can just focus on perfecting everything else.
Hmm.
But yeah, maybe I'm just full of shit. I don't know.
Um, Okay, so I like the idea of having a sexy introductory funnel that we can continue tweaking later. And I do agree with what you're saying. It's like if you build the asset where all of the elements are in place, and then the only work left is like just continuing to massage the copy or rearrange elements based on feedback, and conversion. Like, yes, I do think that there's a lot of value in building that as an asset. And even that asset, like here's a sexy funnel. It's like we could offer that to people as like a lead magnet, as like something really valuable, like whatever, if other people like it. But um
I realize the value of this, aside from just, you know, the value of having a funnel, I think it's the value of when we approach someone like a group owner or community owner or things like that. It's like, hey, we have this product. If we can show them a very professional looking funnel,
mhm.
they're going to be like, okay, these guys are serious. They know what they're doing. Whereas if it's just something that you throw together, they're going to be like, yeah, I don't know. So I think it's more like, even though in itself it might not be that useful, I think it's more like it sells us as professional by having that. It's
I
kind of like, you know, you can be a billionaire and be dressed in shorts and a t-shirt,
mhm.
and people don't take you seriously, and you can be broke and dressed in a suit, and people are like, oh, he's successful because he's wearing a
Mhm.
suit. So I think it's kind of like that effect.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I guess that's where I would say, I would, we should just try this. Um, let's keep refining it. And I'll just keep reaching out to people at various stages of wherever we're at and be like, hey, we have this idea. And if they're like, that's just an idea, then and then we come back and be like, hey, we have this funnel. This is what we're selling. Is this clear? Be like, okay, cool, you have a fun, like, I mean, we may not necessarily need to go back to the same people, but like, just keep checking in with people until people start responding back or we start making sales. And then at that point, we kind of know the bare minimum of what needs to be there for future launches. Um, I mean, I've been really surprised at the product launches that I've seen that are like brand new, not um, announced as a launch with like a professional funnel, but like people that say, okay, so I have this thing, never done it before. You're gonna get the rawest, roughest version of it. Um, like it doesn't. Um, I've seen the way Brian launches stuff. I've seen the way that Dane tries to launch stuff, and Eric launched a course. These are all guys that like they would let the thing live or die just on the idea. It's like, if the offer itself is good enough, it doesn't matter whether it's coming out of your mouth or it's on a page in a professional format. It's like, if what you're offering people actually solves the problem, that's the metric of whether it's good or not. So it's like, if somebody will buy just based on you saying it. Okay, here's an example. And I don't want to necessarily spend a whole bunch of time in this like
No,
um
but this is good. We're exploring,
philosophical.
we're figuring out what the best strategy is for us.
Yeah. And maybe the answer is like there isn't a right strategy. We just need to figure out what feels good and works for us.
Yeah,
Like I was talking to Sander yesterday. He was the call that I was on yesterday. He's like Bobby. He does body work and then mindset stuff.
he does Bobby work.
He was like, I haven't gotten any paid clients, but he has a table set up in his house now. He's done free sessions with people and he's had a lot of training. Like he went through a whole 3-year program, and he has really interesting things to share that has helped him in his own life. But as I was talking to him, it was like, you don't know how to, like he would even said, I don't know how to talk about what I do in a way that people want to buy it and that people understand. Because he would say, like, I'm a body worker. I help people be more in their body. I help you release different traumas and different stuff. And it's like, that's all mechanism. And nobody cares about the how. And so we just had like a conversation for like an hour and a half until I finally got him to tell some stories about like what has changed for him and what the people that he has helped so far have experienced. And like we finally got down to the crux of what he does is, let's see if I can find, if I wrote it down. I mean, really what he does is he helps you, he creates the time and the space for you to connect with your truest self so you can work towards your fullest potential. It's like he helps you process the things that you need to process that are holding you back from not being the guy that you want to be. And that is like, that's more valuable because it can, like, that can be a representation that can be anything for anybody. It's like somebody's like, well, I want to be, $1 million product launch guy. Or, well, actually what I want to be is like, I want to be a famous actor, or I want to be a concert pianist. Like whatever the best version of yourself is, you already know what that is. And that's what you want. And when you say like, well, what I'm actually really good at is I help you trust yourself enough so that you can live up to your potential. It's like that makes sense to somebody because they automatically fill in what it is they're getting. And when you say body work, it's like that doesn't mean anything to anybody who has no exposure to body work. I don't know where I was going with that. I feel like
No, but I think it's good because I think that's what we're trying to figure out for ourselves yesterday.
Oh, right. It's like, what is it that what is the actual offer said like that? It's like where we're like, we help you not be a slave to your business or something like that. Or we help you love your business again.
All right, the analogy that's coming up is most entrepreneurs are like a hermit living in the forest. And it's like, all right, every day they need to like, go to the river and get some water and, go hunting and find some food and everything. It's like every single day, most of their time is spent just on survival. And what we're offering is like, hey, let us teach you how to build a village so that the entire community can come together and there's going to be constant food, there's going to be constant water, so that then you and everyone else in the group can focus on what they do best, which is serve clients and enjoy the life that you want to live. And it's like the community is the village. That's their group. And it's like they're the leader of that village.
So is the result
like that like there's no point in describing it that way because people want to understand, but like I feel like that's kind of what we're offering.
right? I like the analogy, and maybe we should, I feel like I want to start a new document because what I landed on yesterday was like, you just need to find a million ways to say the same thing. So what you just said was build build a village so that the community can what?
I don't know, thrive. But it's more the principle of like, you're by yourself just struggling, you have to do everything, you're overwhelmed and you're always struggling to survive. If you build that community or that village, and it's
Oh,
like,
right.
there's going to be constant water, constant food, and you as a leader can then do what you do best, which is help people, help the community, do what's best for you and the community. And it's like,
Okay,
if you
gotcha.
approach it that way of like, all right, this is my community, my village, I'm their leader.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what's best for them? Like, okay, what's best for them is that I have a successful business, that I have the freedom and
Mm-hmm.
the time and money freedom to be able to really serve at
Yeah,
my best level and help them.
yeah.
And it's like, all right, that means streamline everything you're doing, set
Mm-hmm.
up that community, keep it growing, and stop doing everything else and just
Mm-hmm.
focus on being the leader.
Yeah. Okay. So
Huh. Are we teaching them to set up, like to set up the growth process so they can stop being an entrepreneur and start being a leader? Because like entrepreneurs, they're like, I'm a jack of all trades. I got to do everything myself. I was like, no, you just got to do what you do best. So we're going to teach you to set up the systems that allow you to do that.
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Is it too like on the nose or close to like how that
Yeah.
like if we say something like we reduce the time it takes you to get clients?
Hmm.
Or is that just another way of saying the same thing? How about instead of asking myself, I'm just gonna write down everything that we're saying.
Okay. So, all right, what I was describing, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's just the mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the whole process of, teach you to create a village so that you can be the leader. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
that's not what people use. They're like, I just want a successful business and to
Right.
not be overwhelmed.
Right.
It's like the mechanism is build that community. And that community in the real world, like the internet world, the business world, is build a Facebook group. So it's like the result they want is like, I want a successful business. I want more money. I want more time freedom.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're really after. And it's like, if we can show them, hey, we can deliver this for you, we can just briefly mention the mechanism of like, hey, you need to, in order to do what you want to do, you need to launch, grow, monetize, and automate your Facebook group so you can then focus on doing what you do best. Beyond that, they don't need to know anything. I think that is the extent of how we describe what we do. Everything else is about the benefits and the desires and the pain
Mm-hmm.
points of like, hey, stop being overwhelmed. Have the freedom to really help your clients instead of wasting your time chasing your clients.
Mm-hmm.
Have the freedom to spend time with your family, to go on vacation, to live the life you've always wanted to live.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I think if we do like 20, maybe not even 20, like maybe we don't even need 20, but it's like to use the 80-20, it's like 20% mechanism, 80% pain, desires, and like dreams, like
Mm-hmm.
living in that area. If
Yeah.
we can nail that of like,
Mm-hmm.
what's their big pain? What is their
Wow.
big desire? And just show them like, we can deliver this. here's the mechanism in
Mhm.
one sentence, so you understand it. And
Right.
then we sell all the benefits, all the bonuses, and overcome all the objections. The
Mhm.
mechanism becomes pointless at that point.
Okay, so a business built on time freedom was like the number one foundation.
But it's not just time, it's time and money because they're kind of like synonymous.
Money
If
freedom.
you have more money,
I'm
then
free
you're
of
going to have
money.
more time, so you don't need to work as much.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like both.
Mhm.
Hmm. What if we go back to what we were talking about last year and that principle of retiring? Because
Instant
like
retirement.
you only do what you enjoy so it doesn't feel like work. So it's like, what if that's the promise we sold? Like
Yeah.
retire from your business. Now, as I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, people are like, no, I don't want to retire. I'm building my business. I just
Yeah.
want the business to be successful. So even though
Well,
like retiring the way we describe it is what they want, they won't understand that.
yeah. Okay, so there, I think there's something about what you were saying, having the time to do the things that you want. So it's like if what you actually like is like thinking around and making funnels and like making it polished, it's like you don't have to worry about the other stuff like marketing and getting on sales calls and finding clients because like that process is taken care of. And so then you can actually have the time to do the fun things that you actually are wanting to do in your business and that you find yourself doing instead of the other like stuff that you should be doing, which is like consistently getting in front of new people and finding like getting people to buy.
That's the thing. I feel like I'm very good at the technical stuff of like structuring the funnel, building it out so it looks nice, it looks
Mhm,
polished and consistent, and it's a smooth experience.
mhm,
You're really good at teaching and communicating emotionally.
mhm.
All we're missing is the like
The VA.
clarity, like this,
Oh,
like what exactly we're offering. It's like once we become clear on that, we just combine our skills
mhm.
and build it. And then it's just a question of network, get people in the funnel.
Yeah. Well, that if I've learned anything from Dane in the few times that I've like actually interacted with him, is he's like, I don't know what people want. Like the honest truth is you have to ask. So what's the best way that we could ask?
Dude, yeah, this is what you're good at. You're good at asking people and getting responses from them. That's how you build Facebook communities. So we just need to tap into that skill, get you to ask the right questions in the
Mhm,
right spots for the right people, and see what answers they give
mhm,
us. And that's what we use to fill in the funnel. Because like we know what the product is. The end deliverable is not going to change.
mhm,
We have the funnel and I'm going to keep building it out. It's like that's not really going to change either.
mhm.
So I think all we need to do now is you need to go full Aaron mode and just
Yeah.
like figure out what people want.
Okay. So, oh, dude. Okay. I'm trying to think. Is there a way that we could um have this conversation and do the stuff that we're doing, like building the funnel, while we just okay. I'm trying to figure out how to squeeze this down. But essentially what I'm thinking is like we need to be having a bunch of discovery calls. We need to basically be like talk to a dozen people and tell them, this is what we're planning. Does this sound good or not? Would you buy this or not? And like, then just like, like unpack with them, what is it that they actually want? What is it that you're looking for your business? I'm like, is there a way to do that without, maybe this is a stupid question. Is there a way to like work on the stuff that we're doing anyway and invite people into having a conversation?
You know what? I think what you just described is a mastermind or a think tank of like, hey, we want to help you. We need a group of people to come in and give us feedback so we can figure out exactly what you need. And then we're going to go out and create exactly that. So all you need to do is just come in and share your opinion. And as a result, we'll create that exact thing that you need.
Mm.
And the thing is, like, we can just, like, in order to entice people, if we need to, we can be like, hey, you'll get a free copy of the course once it launches. And that doesn't mean like they're going to get invited to the pre-launch like phase. It's like once the course is complete and done, we'll give you a free copy. And it's like at that point, it doesn't matter if we give it to like 10, 20 people
Right.
because like it's already done. It's not going to
Yeah.
cost us anything.
Mhm.
And I feel like that would be a very good offer for people. It's like, hey, come in, just tell us what you want, and we'll go create, and we'll give it to you when we're done.
Okay, so I can start with all the people in crowd. I've got about 30 people in CrowdScale who I've been building relationships with. Some of them I don't know super well, but there's a handful of people that I have interacted with consistently. And yeah, I can just start going down the list. I'll just send them a message, be like, or maybe I could do a message, I could do a video, I can do a post. I should just do, you know what? I should make this into a resource. How can I make,
I feel like in this case, if it's too polished, it's going to have the inverse effect. Where it's like, hey, if we record a video of like, hey, this is what we're doing, we need people and blah, 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 and we try to sell them too much, I don't think it's going to work. I think just like a simple reach out by text of like, hey, we want to create this product to help people, but we need to figure out exactly what people need help with.
right.
Would you be interested in joining a group of like up to a dozen people and just share your opinion about what you need in your business to succeed? And we're going to go use that information, create a course, and because you helped us, we're going to give it to you on the back end. So you don't have to do any work, but like you get a lot in return. So I think just like a simple like text pitch like that would work. And in retrospect, we should probably have done that in the beginning, but at this point, it doesn't matter. Like the webinar funnel has been like tested enough times that we know it's going to work and we can reuse it.
Yeah.
And we know that we can use the 5-minute Facebook group product to deliver whatever it is that people need.
Well, and I think the webinar funnel is like, that's the most proven scalable method. I think like face-to-face conversations convert a lot better when you, I mean, if you know even a little bit about like sales of like asking what they need and then continually like addressing objections and like asking permission to move forward.
I don't know. I feel like yes and no, because the webinar funnel allows you to tweak it every time you get feedback. So it's like, I feel like you get to the point where you overcome all the objections before they even come up with them. So it's like, if you, let's say, do this once per week for an entire year, you've done it 50 times and you've gotten feedback every time and tweaked it every time. Like by the end of the year, it's going to be so
Yeah.
good that it's almost more effective
Yeah.
as a webinar than it would be on a sales call. Because on a sales call, like you know you're being sold. In a webinar, it's like you do too, but it's happening so smoothly that you don't necessarily realize it. You just get to the end and you're like, crap, I gotta buy this now.
Okay, what if we did this? What if we talk to, like, I can ask all the people I'll send a message to everybody in the group that we have gotten into the free group. See if anybody there actually is serious about. I think Haley's the only one working on it because she's the only one who is close to actually having a business. I suspect all the other people were like, oh, it's free, I want in. Like, I don't think they actually are a qualified prospect. I can reach out to the people in that group and the people in CrowdScale and see if we can get something that people are like, oh yeah, like I want that. And then if we have that, then I think the next step would literally be just sell it every day. And we can structure the webinar or the VSL script as something I could do on a podcast and then just reach out to group owners and be like, hey, we have this product that we're launching and I think it would be a great fit for your community. Would you be interested in interviewing me? I'm refining the message. So I want to try it out in front of real people and see if I'm actually solving a problem for them or not. And if I'm not, I want to see that feedback. If I am, I want to split the profits with you. And like just see if we can line up, like I can pitch this every day and we'll just, here's the script and then here's the feedback we got, make an adjustment. And then the next day do the thing so instead of like doing it every week, just go to a different community or a different group every time and do it. And then maybe cycle back around to places that had warm response or whatever and be like, hey, we're getting ready to launch. Like, here's all the things you're going to get. Like, so as it becomes more polished, you can go back to places and resell to places that were like, this sounds interesting. Keep me in the loop. Or it's like, they had a lot of eyeballs, but not a lot of response. I think refining in real time with like live feedback and doing it every day will work so much faster than whatever the hell it is we're doing now.
I like it. I think it's a good strategy. I'm also realizing like a good strategy for what we wanted, like that mastermind, whatever we want to call it. I don't think we need to do that. I think what you said is all we need to do is like ask the people, hey, we're like kind of like explain quickly, we're creating this. Would you be interested? Everyone who raises their hand, we like, hey, could you fill out this questionnaire? It's like, can we hop on a quick call? So you can tell us exactly what you need. And we can use that information and incorporate it in the course as we're creating it so we can deliver exactly what we need rather than what we think that you need.
Yeah.
And because of that, people will probably be way more open to sharing because it's like, okay, not only are they giving me like what I want, but at the same time, like they're taking my feedback in consideration while creating the course. So it's like way more personalized than just, oh, there's this course that they're pitching that, I could benefit from. It's like, they're going to use what I say that I need to create it. So I think this is the right step, like the first step of not having the fun or anything and kind of like having that feedback. I think that's a good way. And it's like just doing that. Like we're creating this to help you. Who's interested? Everyone who's interested, it's like, all right, can we hop on a quick call so you can tell us exactly what you need to be successful? And then we'll use that to create the course. And then like we kind of like add everyone to a list, if you will. And then once we've gone ahead and like set everything up, we're like, all
Mhm.
right, we're ready to pre-launch. This is everything you're getting, or we can be like, hey, we're about to pre-launch. We created this like webinar where we walk you through everything you were going to
Mhm.
get. We used your feedback and your suggestions to create this. Go check it out. And if it's a right fit, you can sign up. And if not, no worries.
Mhm.
I think this would be a logical strategy.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay.
like, while, because I feel like you're better suited to do that. It's just what you do is like, I could try to do that, but I feel like it would be kind of like clunky and not very effective. So I think if I keep building out the funnel on the back end, just kind of like
Yeah. I,
using
I feel like if
filler
we just
content.
have like if we have the funnel as like something that every time, like literally what I'm doing for the presentation, it's like if we just have bullet points of like hit this, hit this, hit this, hit this, hit this, hit this, hit this value stack. And then it's like every time we get some feedback of like, yeah, but will it work for blah, blah, blah? Or here's my problem. I don't think it works because X, Y, Z. It's like as we come up with objections, we find a way to like, oh, that's a good point. And we either build around that or decide we're not trying to solve that problem. So you're not a good customer, whatever we're going to decide, like build
Yeah.
things into the offer or like niche down even more. And then as we refine the talk, that's what goes into the sales page too.
Mhm.
And so we literally just instead of instead of selling or like trying to write stuff, we're literally just on an Easter egg hunt for what is it that people are saying when they respond to this, so that we can say that back to them the next time we do that, or say it before they think of it. So it's like we've covered all the bases. It's like every question you ever had, it's like you said it before they thought of it, and it's like, whoa, this sounds really good. I mean, this sounds amazing.
Okay, I think this would be a good strategy. I work on building out the funnel, getting everything to look good and getting everything connected and the
Mhm.
payment, like everything in place. So everything is working on the back end, even though like the videos are recorded
Mhm.
and the copy might change, that's not important, but like 90% of it is there. The last
Right.
10% is just the actual copy, which we
Mhm.
can then come in and fill out in a matter of a couple days.
Yeah.
Your job is go out and connect with people. Say like,
Mhm.
hey, we're creating this. We want your feedback so we can create something that's actually valuable for you.
Mhm.
Get people to raise their hand, have conversations with them to figure out exactly what they need and what they're struggling with.
Yeah.
And then by the time the funnel is done, we have the information necessary to plug in the sales
Mhm.
copy and record everything.
Yeah.
And also, then it's like once we're done and everything's set up, we go back to everyone who raised their hand. We're like, hey, we created this. Here's the webinar explaining everything that you were going to get. And we created this using the feedback that you gave us.
Mhm.
Go check it out. And then, like, we might get a couple sales from that. And then, once we do get a couple sales, then we can approach group owners and it's like, hey, we built this using feedback from the community. We
Yeah.
already had 5 people sign up. We're going to launch this officially or do the pre-launch, like the live pre-launch on this date.
Mhm.
We're going to offer you 50% for every sale you make. You want to promote this to your group.
Should we off? Okay, here's a question.
Yeah.
Should we offer like a bigger discount, like a 75-25 or like a 60-40 or something in the process of refining the offer? So it's like once we have an irresistible offer where when we pitch it, we know we're going to get buyers. It's like if we've got it to the point where we've covered enough things, we're like, okay, we're consistently, every time I do this, we get like 2 sales. So then we can just keep raising the price, like see how much it's worth. Like, and actually, I think we can find out how much it's worth, like as we're every time we're doing it. But it's like as we're refining it, make it really valuable to the group owners as we're getting feedback, so that they're more inclined to say yes. So we get more audiences to get in front of. And then once we have built a really irresistible offer, then we know that it sells good. So then we can leverage, instead of offering them more money, we'll be like, hey, this is the conversions that we know we get. Like you can start speaking in a more business language of, this is what it will be worth to you. It's like, our conversions are X amount, like your group is this big. If you can get this many people in front of us, we expect you'll make X amount, blah, blah, blah. And then it's because like at the beginning, it's like, we don't know who's going to buy. We don't know if what we have is any good. So we'll give you're taking on a lot of the risk by letting these bozos in front of your audience. And it's like, we'll give you most of the profits. And then as we have it more quantified, then it's like, we have more of the leverage in the equation. See, this is what I'm thinking, like, this is how I'm thinking in terms of like, for somebody who their job is managing money and managing risk, this is how they're going to be thinking. And so like, I'm trying to figure out, how do we take as much of the, not just the work, but the minimize risk for the business owners. It's like, because that is a risk of letting somebody who you don't know in front of your people, and then having a conversation that's like, you could do some damage to your brand. They might just like have a flop presentation and you wasted your audience's time. It's like you lose trust there. So it's like, I'm just thinking about like all of these things of how do we make it really valuable for people, and at the same time, like I think we should also think through, it's like, if the offer is not what people want, like if we're incorporating as much feedback as we can and people are just like, or we're not getting a lot of engagement, it's like, how do we address that so it doesn't feel like, the room just like dies. It's like, we just like, the wrap up is like, we're really, really grateful we've had a chance to present to it. Like some of you've had like some really good feedback. This is helping us so much. And we're just really great. Like having like most of the pieces, like at least somewhat anticipated of like, if it doesn't go well, what's your out? Like, how do you do it in a way that it still comes across as professional? Because I've seen people do talks and presentations where it's like, it's clear they haven't ever done it before. And to me, it appeared like they put no effort into preparing. And so, I mean, it's one thing if you're talented enough to like speak on your feet, but it's like, if you have things that you're specifically hitting, and if the outcome is people are either going to say, yeah, when can I buy it? Or crickets. What's the response for both? So it's not like, there's so many variables. It's like, if people are buying, you're like, oh my gosh, we got a buyer. It's like all of a sudden credibility goes down, because it's like you obviously don't know what you're doing. It's like, how do you do it in a way that is consistent with people's expectations, and if you're trying to build like a trustworthy and $1 million brand, it's like, how would somebody do that?
I like the fact that you're thinking about this, but I feel like we're never going to be able to plan for everything.
True.
So at the end of the day, it's just like, let's do the best we can. And I think we can both kind of like think on our feet, and it's like, whatever happens, we'll find a way to handle it.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're honest people. So it's like, if we just have to like stop the webinar, it's like, okay, well, we thought this is what you needed, but apparently you don't. So let's just have a conversation.
Yeah.
What do you need? How would this be valuable to you? Because we're still in the process of creating it and tweaking it. So what do you need? And I feel like, even though that doesn't seem professional, people will respect that so much more, because they're like, they're not just trying to sell us something that we don't need. They really want to know what we need. It's like maybe in the beginning we could have that as a section in the webinar
Mhm.
of like, hey, we're creating this, we're in pre-launch. So it's like now's the time if you want to share what you need to succeed in your business,
Mhm.
please just like share that in the chat. And it's like you can address that directly on the call, or you can just be like,
Mhm.
hey, share your comments or your biggest struggles or needs or whatever for your business in the chat. And then we'll go in and use that information to create the course on the back end.
Mhm. Yeah, I think this is gonna be like the difference between our early floaching calls versus like when we started the mastermind and we're like, what, like the amount of growth that happened when we had a group happening versus us just being like, this is just fun hanging out and talking and like, whoa, we have so much in common kind of stuff. And then it's like the amount of growth because we did our floaching for like a month and then we were like, I feel like we should do this integrity thing and got Jessica and Bobby into it. And then we were just, I think in our daily calls, we were like, I cannot believe in the like every week it felt like I feel like we've learned like a month's worth of stuff just in the last, you know, few days together as a group.
I think that's the beauty of floating. Like we live a week and it feels like a month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we live a month and it feels like a year. And it's like I'm just thinking to like who I was when I started traveling as opposed to who I am now. And it just
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like a completely different person. And it's been 6 months. And it's like even for the business, we started what, like a little less than a month ago. It's like,
Less than 3 weeks. I mean, it's been about 3 weeks.
and the thing is, like, we've come so far, even though we feel like, oh man, this is taking forever and we need to do so much work. It's like we have, like, I don't know, maybe 75% of a funnel built out already.
Mm-hmm.
We have the course structured out.
Yeah.
And it's like we've done so much work. Most people like would take months to get to this point. And it's like even the funnel, like most of it is built out already. Took me
Mm-hmm.
2 days of work. Like, okay, it's nowhere near done, but it's
Yeah.
like most of it is still there. We just need to go in and fill in the blanks. So it's like I feel like we just need to stop every once in a while and remind ourselves, like, we're doing this way faster than most people. Like, we can probably do
We're
it
doing it.
faster, more
Like Bobby
effectively.
would say, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing it.
Yeah, I think as long as we both focus on what we do best,
Yeah.
we'll be good. Because the thing is, like, we're trying to do things that we're not good at.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're trying to create good sales copy. We're not really
Yeah.
that good at that, but you're good
Yeah.
at research. And once you have that research,
Mm-hmm.
writing good copy is really easy because it's pretty much
Right. And I think
fill in
that's
the
what we need to
blanks.
do is like get away from trying to be like clever or good writers because we are both very creative, but we are good at creating what we like.
Yeah.
And so we need to be like, all right, we need to be good uncoverers of what people want. And so it's like we'll just keep stuffing it down in there until it's like we finally just have so much stuff that says what they want that's just like these guys get it. Like that's what I've been looking for.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you're good at teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So the course, the deliverables is already handled because that is what you're good at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good at structuring things and creating like as an example, like the funnel. Like I'm really good at structuring that and making it
Mm-hmm.
look good and go smoothly and everything. So it's like I build out the structure of the funnel, you deliver on the result. All we need is get the audience, the customers, to tell us what they want, and
Mhm.
we use that to fill in the blanks and deliver the sales copy they need to buy, and then deliver the results that they want. So it's like, we don't need to do anything that we're not good at. All we
Yeah.
need to do is research and get people to tell us what they want. Like, that's the
Weird.
beauty of this. We don't need to do anything that we're not good at or that we don't enjoy. It's like, we don't
Yeah.
enjoy selling. We don't need to sell. We enjoy networking. We enjoy talking to people. So we just network and talk to group owners and tell them, hey, we have this incredible offer.
Mhm.
You want to promote, and we'll both make money. So it's like, I think we've been kind of going at this a little wrong,
Yeah.
because we're like, we need to do everything ourselves. It's like, yeah, but all we need to do is like, okay, we're thinking like we need to do 100% of this. We just need to do like 20%. We need to use the
Right.
80% of what people tell us they want and do the 20% work of like setting it up into a presentable and attractive package for them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if we can nail this, could be the difference between like $10,000 launch and a $100,000 launch. Because that's the thing, like all we need is 100 people,
Mhm.
$100,000. Like, of course, if we have affiliates and stuff like that, like, and we're splitting it two ways, it's not that much, but it's still like, it doesn't matter. Even if like 100 people sign up and 50,000 goes to affiliates, and we're
Mhm.
only left with like 25,000 each, like $25,000 each for a launch is amazing. So it's like, who cares, you know?
That's an interesting ad. That definitely.
I'm trying to see in your glasses, but it's not clear enough.
The ad is wasted a year in my digital agency. And the graphic says, step by step, you will get clients. And so then it redirects to URLs like agency war plan. How your marketing agency is costing you 50, whatever. Anyway,
Oh. Ooh. What if we use that as a sales tactic?
5 moves to double your agency. Secure your spot for only $97. Let's build your personalized agency war plan to double your revenue, gain clarity and certainty in your digital agency.
But
Okay,
what if we
is
use
there
this?
a way? Go ahead.
I'm just thinking like, what if we use this as strategy? Because we're always focusing on, make more money, have more time. But people are way more like, they'll fight way harder to not lose something than they will to gain it. So it's like they're going to work 10 times harder to not lose $100 that they made,
Mhm.
as opposed to just earning another $100.
Yeah,
So can we use that principle of like, you're losing out on $10,000 per month by running the business that you do the way now, instead of like, hey, you can make an extra $10,000 per month with this strategy. It's like just presenting it in such a way people are like, I hate losing, like missing out on things.
mm,
It's like, maybe if we use that rather than like, hey, this is what you get, it's like, no, you're
yeah,
losing this. You're wasting your time and effort now.
yeah. Dude, I could totally use a hook like that. It's like I just flushed $32,000 down the toilet. I mean, like the amount of time that we've spent talking to each other instead of to prospects. If we'd spent 80 hours just like having calls with people, even if they were free, like we would have had a list of stuff by now. It's like if we had had an hour-long conversation with 80 people, we would know what they want. Like we would know what we need to say. We'd probably have like a swipe file of like 3 killer quotes from every single person and just literally let them write the sales page. But what I was gonna say is like, is there a way that we could offer something on the call that makes it valuable so that we can get paid just a little bit to do these like discovery conversations? It's like, could we say like, hey, we'll launch your group on the phone for like, in half an hour. And it's like $20 or something. It's like, I'll sit down and do it with you. And then talk to them like, so what would it look like to run this? Like, what are you thinking? Is this solving a problem for you? It's like, or would you like to be able to do this in like 5 minutes a day? Or what is it that you want? What could I promise you that you would give me thousands of dollars? I probably wouldn't come out and say that, but the right people I might.
I mean, I like it, but I feel like the free approach would make more sense because it's like, we need your help. And on the back end, we can just reach out to them once we feel it's like, hey, you gave us your feedback. We used that and created this.
Right.
Go check it out and see if it's a good fit for you.
Yeah.
It's like, even
It's
though we're
true.
not getting paid upfront, we could potentially make way more on the back end.
That is true. If it's
Like if we get, let's say, 50 people that,
Yeah.
hop on a call and just provide feedback, and then we go back after we've created this and reach out to those 50 people and be like, hey, thanks for the feedback. We really appreciate it. Or we can touch in every once in a while being like, hey, we really appreciate your feedback. We're working on this. This is kind of like what we have, and kind of like share like tidbits of like what we are, so that by the time it's ready, it's like, all right, it's finally ready. Like we create like a killer presentation that
Yeah.
explains everything that you're getting and all the benefits. Like, thank you so much for your feedback. It allowed us to make this possible. Go check it out. And like, if
Yeah.
you want, we can even offer them like a special discount of like, hey, we created this special like coupon code to thank you for helping us out. And you get 50% off the special launch price. So it's like, it's already super discounted, but you're getting an extra 50% off. It's like, even if we just make 500 bucks
that's
from
really good.
those, like, since we didn't get an affiliate, well, it's just as if we made an affiliate sale.
Right. We turn
It's like,
ourselves into
they're
an
going to feel
affiliate.
special because it's like, I
It's
participated.
like, let me say thank you to you. And we're like,
Yeah. So it's kind
I
of
like that. I like that idea. It's like you're giving them ownership in it. And so in return, they are like, oh, I want it. I want it. Cause it's like, it's what I need. And I got to contribute to the making of this in some small way. Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Like,
yeah. So we can like, I don't know how we want to structure, but like, if we like have a call out for people who's like, hey, we're creating a course for this kind of person, but we want it to be really valuable and actually help you in what you need help with. So we need people to come in and tell us exactly what they're struggling with, exactly what they need, so they can then go out and create the exact product that's going to help them get that result. Are you willing to help us?
Yeah.
It's like, people are like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll give it a try. And it's like, then like, we don't have to pitch like, and you'll get a free copy, because then some people like will be, or like a discount copy. Some people are like, well, I just want the discount, or I just wanted the free thing. It's like, we want to do this. We want to help people. Can you help us by telling us what you need? And then we kind of like build that relationship. And if we do it correctly on the back end, it's like, we created what you asked for. And just to thank you, we're giving you an extra discount. So go check it out. Like, we're doing a webinar like on Saturday. Just, sign up, come check it out. No pressure to buy, but if you choose you want to buy, then just, we're going to give you a special code and you can get an extra 50% off. So I think like that structure would work really well. Because we're getting people who want to contribute, the kind of people who are like, yeah, okay, I'm willing to give a little of my time because it's for the greater good and I might benefit from it.
Yeah.
And it's like, because they raise their hand, we know they're a good fit. So it's kind of like we can kind of like eliminate people by saying like, hey, we need these kinds of people because we're creating a course for those kinds of people.
Yeah.
And it's like automatically anyone who's not a right fit, they're like, well, I don't need this. I don't want this. Why would I waste my time talking to this person when there's nothing in it for me?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that approach would work really well. It's like even if we only get 10 people and we only make one sale as a result of that,
Mhm.
and it's a discounted sale, it's like, well, it's still another 250 bucks each. For 10 people, that's the equivalent of getting paid 25 bucks per person. And we got the feedback we wanted, so perfect. And it's
All
like
right,
we're
I have
always
to go to
thinking
the
like
bathroom.
worst case scenario, but we're like, there's a chance that we're gonna hit this on the nail and like make a crap ton of money.
Right.
Maybe not, and that's totally fine, but
Mhm.
it's a possibility.
Yeah. Or this might be like you you swing and like it just hits the edge of the nail. You're like,
Yeah.
ah, crap. And it's like, well, okay, let me try again. And it's like, oh, it kind of went in. So it's like, it might take a couple of hits, but it's like, it may not be that perfect carpenter's like one hit sink it all the way to the board, but it's like,
All right, to use a less elegant analogy, it's kind of like anal. First time it doesn't really go in.
all right, I gotta go to
Also
the
it kind of
bathroom.
hurts.
I'll be right back.
Uh, I think I scared Aaron away with that anal analogy. Ooh, anal analogy. That sounds funny. I guess it's an analogy. I'm having fun. Let me go on my phone while he's gone. I still find that funny. Analogy. I'm gonna go get some water. Yeah, it's too dark with the door open. I'm still laughing at that analogy thing. That was funny. This is like the worst lighting. I look horrible. Or maybe I just look horrible. it feels good to drink. Yesterday, I was building up the funnel and I was so focused on what I was doing that even though my water bottle was right there next to my computer the entire time, I barely drank anything. And I got to the end of the day and my throat was actually hurting because I didn't drink enough. It's funny because I don't really enjoy the process of building funnels or websites or things like that, but it's like once I get to the end and it's done and I see the result, I'm like, whoa, that looks so cool. Uh, I guess it's because I'm a recovering perfectionist and creating something that looks good. I'm like, oh yeah, that's perfect, even though it's not.
Okay. This is what I realized. I've been asking myself for a few months now, like, how can I run? Like, how, okay. If,
Let me just insert a joke right there. You've been asking yourself for the last few months, why am I friends with this guy? Uh,
well, I've been ass kissing myself.
nice.
But no, okay. So what I was gonna say is I've been trying to figure out, like, how do you run a business like a cockroach lays eggs? It's like, how do you just make tons and tons of the same stuff? It's like your goal isn't actually like how do you make the best, like hardiest thing. It's just like how do you just have so much that like some are gonna survive. And so what I realized is like if we get this process down to where it really actually only takes about an hour to launch a brand new community, like you get all the onboarding stuff and stuff built out, and then it just takes like 5 minutes to run it. It's like you could start one every single day based on a hunch or like initial like one person's market feedback. Just start them to see if they go somewhere. And then it's like instead of you trying to like will it to life, it's like if the idea is good, the community just will automatically assemble.
And I feel like, yeah, if we're able to do this, then we can literally just, test out all our ideas.
Right.
And then once they gain traction, the group will automatically provide the feedback that we need in order to create the course that they want or that they need. And then if we have the structure on the back end already built out, like the funnel and the webinar and everything,
Right.
you just take that new thing and plug it into that model. And
Yeah.
it's like we could create and launch a new course in like a week.
Yeah. So if all our job was like listening and paying attention to little things people say, so that it's like that could be a business. Let's try it. Like you start a public group, you make the right, like you write it in a way that's like, this is the result. This is the irresistible identity that you want to say yes to. And then it's like, do people find it organically? If it's actually a market need where people are looking to have that question answered and you started a thing, it's like put enough people in the room, like it will build itself. And if your job is just like, let me
So
just launch
the principle is
200
build it and they will
groups.
come.
Yeah, exactly. If you just launch 200 groups in a month and it's like, maybe one of them has some potential. It's like, just stoke the fire a little bit, but like all the ones that are like, nothing's really happening. It's like, those aren't worth the time to try to turn it into something. It's like, you want the low hanging fruit where it's like, people are ready to have their problem solved now. And so then you go where the engagement is.
That's the thing. I feel like this entire process we're going through is like we're building the structure that we need to create a successful business. And it's like it is going to be successful, but it might not be like $1 million idea successful. But if we have that structure in place, then we can repeat this until
Yeah.
we hit that million or $10 million
Yeah, and
idea.
that's the thing. It's like maybe this is only like a $30,000 idea. It's like there's a maximum like organic sales that you don't do a lot of work to get. It's like you might cap out at like 20, 30 grand if you have the right combination of like really irresistible and just there at the right time. But if you know you have a process that takes you a day or two to launch, you can launch hundreds of those a year and make, it's like, okay, so maybe if your goal is like launch 80 a week, that's, what is that, like 20 a day? It's like if you have VAs, like if
Well,
you're just like,
80 a week would be like, I don't know, 12 approximately per day. Because 10 times 70, like 10 times 7 days is 70.
yeah, it's true.
It's like 10 per, I mean, that seems extreme, 10 per day. Like we have a lot of
Well,
ideas, but
yeah, but
I
I
don't think
mean,
we have 10 ideas.
if you have the process down to where you can hand it to the VA and then it actually like the system can run itself, then it's like you can validate it. Because what I would do is like without recording a video, just put an offer in the group. Here's the result. Here's the offer. Here's the group. Do people start coming in and start talking and be like, oh, this sounds really good, but I wish it was this, that, blah, 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 blah. It's like if people start finding it by themselves and it's something that solves a market problem, it's like if you launched 80 groups a week and took 2 weeks off for vacation a year, it's like that's 4,000 groups. Like that's 4,000 potential businesses that if they converted at 1%, that's 40 times like 40 times $30,000. If it's a $30,000 idea, like that's $1.2 million.
I mean,
So
I like the idea behind this, but it just sounds exhausting to me. Even if it's a simple process, like just the process of writing one email per day and sending it to a newsletter got exhausting after 2 weeks. And I was pre-writing those emails. Like I only had to do it once every 2 weeks and just like sit down for a couple hours and do it. It's like that already was exhausting. So I'm just thinking like 10 per day, like I would hate my life.
Well, but that's the thing, is like if you reverse engineer, if you like, I'm gonna make $1 million from this, so you can spend the money to like have people do the stuff that you don't need to do. And then on like that's assuming that this is just our own private idea, that the process isn't going to get better from refining it, from teaching other people and seeing what they're learning. Like you're going to have other people who are invested in using this and they'll come up with like, hey, I've been doing this strategy. Like I just added my own little twist to it and it like increases conversion 50% or whatever. Like the value of having an idea that works is then you sell it to other people who are looking for ideas that work. You make way more than it's like if you charge $30,000 to teach this process, then it's like, I mean, I don't know. I think because what I'm seeing is like Brian gets people to pay him to learn a strategy that they're going out and doing all of the market research and testing and like experimenting, and he's just watching. It's like, I'm getting you to do my job and you're paying me to do it. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, is like, you don't have to actually own the responsibility of doing it. It's like, if you just keep scaling, having people pay you to learn the thing and then go do it and try it, those are your VAs, so to speak.
All right, maybe we're talking about different versions of the same thing, but what makes more sense to me and doesn't seem like like as much work as like we use this business to set up the system
Mhm,
and create the connection with business, like people who own groups
mhm,
or lists or whatever, they own audiences.
mhm,
And if we, sell the course and they make money, then after that, all we need to do is go back to them and be like, hey, like, can you interview your audience or ask them, like, what do they need next?
mhm,
And we do that with a bunch of different groups. And we're like, hey, we've like asked a bunch of different people
mhm.
who are in your audience, like in this type of person. And it's
Yeah.
like we found this is the biggest thing that they need, that they're asking for.
Mhm,
We know like it's a lot of work to create the course, so we don't need you to do that. We're going to go and create that course, and we're going to come back and do the same deal we did before, 50-50. You have the audience, we create the course, we both make money. So it's like once we have that network of people, we just use them to interview their audience and tell us what the audience needs next. And we
mm,
just go create that. And it's going to be super easy to sell because we're creating what they said they needed.
mhm.
So it's really like come back. It's like, hey, remember like a month ago when we asked you what you needed next? Well, we went and created that. Here it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I feel like we're kind of like front loading the work. Like we're doing the work of building the funnel and the offer and the structure
Mhm,
and the network and everything. But it's like, once we do that, we're not limited to, oh, we have this one course and we need to keep finding new people. It's like,
mhm.
how do we keep making money? Well, we just make new courses. Making courses is easy once you have the funnel and the process and everything set up. Because like if we can get to the point where we have access through like people that we've networked with and we have access to 1 million people in the audience,
Mhm.
we just need to repeat that process. Ask the audience, what do you need next to be successful in your business? And go and create that product, do an affiliate deal with them, and everyone gets paid. Like
Three hundred
if
and
we do this
ninety-five
right,
websites.
we could get to the point where we're launching like, even if it's just like four, let's say like we want launch one new course every 3 months,
Mhm,
4 new courses per year. If it's like, I don't know, even if it's like $100,000 launch per course,
mhm.
$400,000. Let's say the affiliates make half. Well, we still made $100,000 each that year. And it's like, all right, if we have the funnel and the structure and everything built out, like it's going to be what, maybe like a couple of weeks, a month of work per course max.
Mhm.
So it's like, I think we're focusing on this on like, oh, this is our business that we're building. It's like, yes, but we're more than that. We're building the mechanism
Mhm.
to replicate this business as many times as we want. So it's like, I think that's why it's so important for us to do it right. Not just so the business is successful, but so we have the structure in place to then go out and do this as many times as we want with as many different things as we want.
Mhm.
I think like that's the value of the funnel. Like once you have a funnel that works, you can just kind of copy and paste and fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Not that like the 80 ideas per week wouldn't work. It's just I know myself and I know that it would overwhelm me and I'd be like, I hate this. Even if I'm making like a bunch of money, I think I would still be like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Not even $1 million a year.
Because the thing is like I enjoy challenges. Creating and launching a new course, like it's a challenge.
Mhm.
There's an end line. Whereas this, it's like you got to keep cranking out and cranking out and cranking out. And it's just like I don't enjoy that. Even though I thought I would, which is why I was doing the whole
Uh-huh.
newsletter strategy.
I mean, to me, the challenge is like how do you build the essentially like the engine for a business where you can basically like make a voice note. It's like, childcare swap for moms in North Texas.
Oh,
Like,
I haven't-
and then you just plug it into your system, and then somebody else does all the rest of the stuff. Like
Okay.
that's the business I want to own.
I have the perfect business idea. We launch a daycare agency, and we, instead of paying babysitters to do it, we just get pedophiles. They're going to do it for free. So we make all the money.
That's, I mean, that's the thing. It's like Jay Abraham's like, find somebody who wants something, find somebody else who wants something, and figure out how to get them to serve each other's needs.
And
when-
get paid for it. Like pedophiles want children, their parents want babysitters. We get
Exactly.
paid. Everyone's happy. Okay, no
Uh-huh.
one is happy. That's a horrible business idea. The principle is sound.
But we only hire pedophiles who promise never to do anything for your kid. We have them sign a waiver and everything.
Oh my God. All right, so are we clear on what we have to do? Because I know I have to go in and just keep building out the funnel.
Mhm. Yeah, I just need to reach out to as many people as I can individually commit to, like, I don't know what the right way to do it is. Like, I think right now, just getting people on a call and be like, hey, here's the idea, tell me what you think. And then, like, by me sitting with them, like, I can ask them a bunch of questions. Because what I found is if I send people stuff, they don't look at it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's more if we use the approach of like we're creating a course for this kind of person, and we need feedback from that kind of person so
Yeah.
we can create a course that's actually valuable for them. If you would be interested in sitting down for a few minutes and just telling us how we can help you, just let us know. And whoever raises their hand, you just kind of like PM them. It's like, hey, thanks for, volunteering. Like, would you mind having like 15-30 minute chat? Like, here's the link to my calendar and just book an appointment. Like something
Yeah.
as simple as that, I think would work pretty well. You know what we should do to celebrate once we've made, I don't know, should it be 1 million? Yeah, let's go for the 1 million. You want to make a deal right now that once we hit the $1 million mark for the funnel, we're going to go run an ultra marathon.
Okay.
Like, sounds like a horrible way to celebrate, but
Handshake. Yeah, I'm in. We make $1 million on the funnel, I'll go run an ultra marathon. I feel like once we start making money, we're gonna be like, oh crap, we gotta do this.
yeah, we'd be like, okay, how can we stop making money? I don't want to do this.
All right. So
and just to be clear, it's $1 million generated from this. So it's like that includes like, the portion that affiliates make. So it's like $1 million in sale, even if it's like
Right.
$1 million in our pocket. So it's like once the funnel generates $1 million, we gotta go run an ultra marathon. The beauty of this, even though that sounds like a horrible way to celebrate, it just proves the kind of person that we are now.
Okay, I just had an idea.
Okay.
Could we use that as a sales metric? If you're playing the long game, you're like, I don't know how many people have done like $1 million launches, but like, could you say that is our startup cost. It's like, we're not going to take any profit. We're not going to pay anything on the business other than just like fulfillment, like to get things started. But it's like 95% of the money goes to affiliates and like promoters, commission salesmen, like to just, get this in front of a gajillion people. And it's like, we've made $1 million in sales in like 3 months. And it's like, we didn't take any of that money because we would just wanted to prove the idea. We don't have to talk about that, or we could talk about it, but it's like, you price it in a way that's like, it's just so stupid good that like, you can't say no. And you pay everybody super well to go promote it for you. And then it's like, if you be like, who are these dopes that like came from nowhere? They made $1 million in like with their first launch. And then from there, it's like, we know how to make money. Like we made $1 million in blah, blah, blah. We can charge whatever we want. If your $1 million is essentially like your lead magnet, it's like, we're going to give away $1 million to get our audience.
Okay, I like this idea. And I have another idea that might be separate or it might be combined with this one. But what if we
It's
use
almost like, go
Go ahead.
ahead. Well, I was gonna say, like, it's almost like, could we just pay ourselves literally like living expenses? It's like, we're just gonna take like $1,500 or $2,000 a month to just feed ourselves, and it's like 100% of the rest of whatever's left is like, just pay people who will sell this, and then it's like, whatever fulfillment costs, if we are paying people to fulfill it, like obviously that needs to be done, but like, how can you rocket to the most amount of sales possible? And then it's like, once you hit that mark, then it's like, all right, now start propping the tent up, like start building out the because by then you've established a certain amount of credibility.
All right. I like this idea, and it could be something like, did you just blow on me?
Make a wish.
Okay, so we could use a strategy of something like, we're giving away, like we're giving 80% of all sales to affiliates until we hit that $1 million mark. And it's like, you get 10%, I get 10%. So we only make $100 each for every sale. The person selling it, like promoting it, gets $800 for every sale. Now, the other idea that I had, which could well tie into this, is we use what we just decided to do. Once we hit the $1 million mark, we're going to run an ultra marathon. What if we use that as a selling tool of like, hey, we're doing this ridiculous challenge where we're launching our business, we're giving away 80% of the price of the revenue to affiliates, and our goal is to get to 1 million as quickly as possible because we've challenged ourselves to go run an ultra marathon as soon as we hit that $1 million mark. So it's like, not only are you benefiting from this because you're getting the training and you're getting everything to help your business, but you're also participating in helping all those affiliates that are promoting it. And at the same time, you're kind of like contributing. And it's like, do you want to see us run an ultra marathon? It's like, hey, once we hit the $1 million mark, like we'll hire camera people to follow us and like chronicle the entire event.
Yeah.
And it's like, we can then use that to do the official launch of like, the pre-launch period is until we hit that $1 million mark. Once we hit it, then we go do that challenge and we use that to officially launch it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, imagine we launch it like, hey, we hit 100, like we hit $1 million with this product in X amount of time. We gave away 80% of it, and we ran an ultra marathon at the end of it. Like, that seems like a really cool, like unique thing.
Yeah. Time is trying to figure out what 5 p.m. Okay, I need to do that.
I think you're right. If we're able to find a bunch of people to sell it because they're making $800 for every sale, it's like, even if we're only making 10% each, it's like, well, if we make $100,000 in sales in the first month, well, we both made $10,000. Like maybe this is just the mechanism and we're like thinking too hard and trying to be clever and everything, but like done right, this could work very well. Like I think for now, we just need to do what we already figured we needed to do, which is I build out the funnel, you go get people and speak to them and get the feedback of figuring out exactly what they need.
Yeah.
But if we want to, using that launch strategy could be really good, because then on the back end, during the launch period, it's like when you buy the extended warranty, it's like you not only get, 60 days for your money back guarantee, but you get to resell your course and make 80% back. So you resell it once, you make $800. Resell it twice, you made $1,600. You made $600 in profit. Like that's a great deal. Like you get to resell the course that you used and went through for 80% of its original value.
Yeah.
Like even if we only like get them to resell it once, like doesn't matter. Anyway, like this is definitely a good idea and a strategy that if implemented properly could work really well. You seem to be lagging. Ah, there you go. Nope. Bye. Oh, there you go. Hello. Oh, bye.
So I just found this is an ad. Let us launch and scale your brand for you. And so then when you click on the ad, it's like a step-by-step system builds and launches your high-ticket offer, marketing and branding in 90 days or less, or you don't pay, without trial and error and doing it all on your own. It's like they don't say at all how it works. They just say
it's probably building the funnel and autoresponder and everything on the back end. It's probably like a $10,000 offer.
Get a price. Book your 15-minute demo. Book your short. Call below. Oh, they're using a video ask. Confirm you're filling this out because you want to know more about our done for you brand building process, correct? Yes, I want to kickstart or expand my brand. No, I'm going to leave this page immediately.
Is that really an option?
Yep.
Nice.
Let me see what happens when I click this. Thanks for being here. Unfortunately, we can't help you at this time. Please join our Facebook group for a ton of free lessons. Oh, interesting. They send you to a Facebook group.
Smart.
Visionary planner. So welcome to 7-Figure Brand Builders and Course Creators, a group hosted by
internet connection is unstable. A message popped up saying my internet connection is unstable. It feels for some reason like at this point, like we could keep talking for 2 hours, but it wouldn't be really productive. We both know what we have to do.
Yeah.
We should probably just go do it.
Okay.
Oh man, now I gotta go work. No, it's 11:11. Perfect. You're like, no, it's not. It's 12:11.
So I feel like the idea about, should write this down. Junk leads. Ooh.
But
I'm thinking.
I think I can. I think I can. Oh no, I can't.
Yeah.
A little engine that couldn't.
Trying to figure out how to make it really, really irresistible to business owners. So the done for you, while you get something out of it, seems to be like a really hot model right now. I'm wondering about this idea of, remember the junk leads?
Mhm.
It's like people who opt out of your funnel, basically. What if you could give people a place to nurture their junk leads? It's like done for you lead nurture for people who are not qualified for your offer.
Hmm. I don't know. I keep coming back to this. Like, it's good to have an irresistible offer, but at the same time, I feel like if you're approaching a group owner or someone who has like an audience and you offer them so much, I feel like they're gonna get overwhelmed with like this is too much. Whereas if we just approach them, it's like, hey, we have this product, it would be a really good fit for your audience. Do you want to promote it? You're gonna make this much for every sale. Whether that's 50% or 80%, like I think by keeping it simple is going to be more effective for them because they're already busy. All we want to do is like, hey, we're giving you an opportunity to make money from your pre-existing audience without having to do any work. So I don't think we necessarily need to tack on anything else because people who have successful businesses and who have audiences that they know are valuable,
Yeah.
if they recognize a product like, yes, this is a good fit, I can make sales, like that's all they care about. They don't care about like what you can do for them or all the bonuses. They're like, I just want to make money.
Right.
Because like I don't know, that's my impression. I could be wrong. But I'm just putting myself in their shoes of like, I'm imagining like I have an audience and someone approaches me. It's like, hey, do you want to promote my product? It's like you'll make this much for every sale. Plus, I'll do this for you, and I'll do that, and I'll do this. It's like, I don't want that. If your product's a right fit, I just want to promote it, make my money, and move on.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that as like its own offer. It's
Oh,
like,
okay.
I tell people all the time, like I'm good at community. So one thing that comes up a lot is like people will like, well, will you just like do it for me? And so I'm trying to think like, how would you do it in a way that you basically build the holding tank for their junkie leads and run like basically group management the way that we're talking about it. It's like 5 minutes a day or something. It's like you just assign a VA to that group to continue running it. And then it's like a $6,000 deal. It's like if they have a high ticket program, that's like $3,000, $6,000, and they're constantly pushing leads into the group. And it's like, they're not perfect fits, but they're familiar with that person. Then you're just constantly warming that group, and the community is like talking about the result, the thing that they want. So it's like, eventually somebody's gonna raise their hand out of that group, but they're not having to do any of the work.
But isn't that the process of the Facebook group anyway? The point is to get people, like escalate them to the point where they're ready to buy your offer.
Right. But
Like
this is,
maybe what you're talking about is like people who like are barely a good fit. So they were like, they're not advanced enough to be in the normal groups. You're saying creating like a separate group where it's like as Russell Brunson calls it, what's it called? The bridge, what's it called? The something bridge.
Epiphany Bridge.
Yes. It's like creating a group that kind of like creates an epiphany bridge. So they're at the spot where they can enter the normal group.
Right.
So it's kind of like expanding the audience. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So, okay. Well, I'll literally show you. Share screen. Share. Can you see this?
Yep.
All right. So this guy,
Thanks for being here.
don't miss out.
Oh, that reminds me. I need to create a pop-up for the sales page.
Are you sure? It's only 5 minutes. Okay, so I clicked on this guy's ad. Let me select his ad.
You're not feeling well?
So this was the funnel it sent me to. Exclusively for coaches, course creators, consultants, service providers. This is the step-by-step system that builds and launches your high-ticket offer. Get started, get your free downloads, and learn more. So enter your info. We'll send you a free blueprint. Our fully guaranteed process works. So this is basically getting a lead. Oh, we should do this. It's like, here's the result. Do you want it? Enter your info and we'll tell you how it works.
Something that I've noticed, because now that I'm building out the funnel, is I've been going back a lot to Russell Brunson funnels. And I've noticed that he does this thing where instead of just sending you to the payment page, it's like 2 steps. Step 1, filling your name and email address in order to go to step 2.
Yeah.
So even if you don't complete, automatically you get their contact info.
Yeah. Yeah, it's micro commitments. It's like you're able to
unfortunately, I'm like,
list even if somebody's like, I don't want to buy it.
yeah, unfortunately for us for the beginning, like we don't necessarily need to do that step. We just want to make things simple for them. Our goal is not to grow the list. Like in fact, we could launch this entire thing and not even have the list.
Yeah. I'm gonna do this. Visionary planner. I want to kickstart online brand. I want to expand my biz to 6 figures. I'm ready to expand my 6-figure biz to 7. All right. I agree. Processing your submission. Oh my goodness. All right, so this is the main page, and I clicked on the get a price. If you could wave a magic wand, help you build an impactful cash flowing brand that gives you the lifestyle you're after without having to create it on your own, would you say yes? New methodology for building a sustainable business that sets you free instead of locking you down. We should just swipe like find new ways to say this, but like he's doing the work for us. Like this is our niche. It's like people who want an easy way to do their business. Are you committed to having a sales and marketing strategy that gets you predictable income? Are you ready to make an impact if you just knew what to focus on? Are you excited to free up your time? Ooh, yeah, if you knew what to focus on, free up your time, lead generation and conversions. Pay close attention to the rest of this video. This is a nice slide deck. And he's probably just literally reading this.
Pretty much, I'm assuming.
Passions in the now crowded online space. Our strategies can help you structure and organize your business so it runs without you having to trade dollars for hours. It's going to let you show up differently in a crowded online space.
He's just reading it. Yeah, that's what we need to do is find a script template like this, or just borrow somebody's like that, and then build it out where I'm literally just reading it, and then just adjust the presentation as we get feedback. And like that's our sales copy. It's like if I'm just reading it, I'm not going off on bunny trails, and it reinforces that like what you're hearing and what you're seeing is the same thing.
Mhm.
I've seen several people do that and realizing like that's probably on purpose. It's not a laziness thing. It's this is how you reinforce what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's why webinars work so well.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
So
like,
he has
here's
this.
what we're talking about, and here's me talking about that.
Yeah. So this is the thing. It's like to find out how much it costs, book your 15-minute demo. It's like get on a
Of course.
discovery call. And so this is probably an expensive program since it's all done for you. And this is like, no, I'm going to leave this page. And that's where it directed you to the Facebook group. So I'm wondering, it's like for people who have leads coming in, like they're paying for ads or they're doing organic traffic, where they have a land page, they've got all their messaging set up, and they know who they don't want in their business, or like who they don't want wasting their time. It's like if you have that kind of client, that's the person we should be going after for this. It's like showing that it's like we'll just show you how to build the Facebook group if you don't have it. If you do have it, it's like let's figure out what they're doing to nurture those people. And I don't know, I'm just really interested to see like what they're doing in that. Like I'm gonna join this group. He's only got about 1,000 people in there. I've not yet started a business.
But I feel like that's kind of the process we're going to go through with getting people who are our ideal clients to tell us, hey, what do you need help with?
Yeah.
Like it would definitely be useful, like going into that sales page we were just on before and like taking notes of all the things of like, hey, do you want this? Do you want that? And like all those things. But I feel like that's kind of what we're going to get from asking those people like, hey, what do you need help with?
Oh, dang.
Hmm.
5-month accountability. So it looks like this is the program. A 5-month accountability program that holds you accountable as you build your dream business without figuring out how to all by yourself or having to deal with tech or outsourcing. This is giving us a lot of the language we need for our offer, I think. I want to save hundreds of hours so I can launch and get to cash flow as quickly as possible. Yes, I want to save hundreds of hours. No, I don't need any help. And I'd rather figure things out with trial and error. If you want exclusive access to my $99 course, ooh, this is good. Like he's getting you to raise your hand on, I want to buy something with your email. It's like, if people don't put their email in, it's like, that's already a no. So he's basically giving you an opportunity to, I mean, he's qualifying his email list on this thing. That's a really smart idea. If you want exclusive access to my $99 course, 8 steps to free up your time and automate your expert brand for free. oh, he's giving you this course for free. If you'd like,
Hmm.
if you want exclusive access to my $99 course, 8 steps to free up your time and automate your expert brand for free. I feel like this could be said better. It's like, if you want free
Yeah.
access to my $99 course, type your best email down below.
But we're just nitpicking. At the end of the day, it doesn't really change that much.
Yeah. Be awesome. Be supportive. Be efficient. No promotions or spam. Well, he's changed the rules on here, which means they're doing this Facebook group semi-intentionally. I'm curious to see what the community is like, if there is any community. Because this is a good example of a community that is done, like, it follows the standard model that lots and lots of businesses use, but he's tweaked a few things that I haven't seen before that to me seem like good ideas. I'm curious to see how well that works. I wish you could turn private groups public. Wish you could get a public group. Because public groups grow crazy fast. Like, there are groups that have like 70,000 people in them. And
I
often
mean, there are
they're
groups
not,
that have,
often they're not selling communities.
I think there are groups that have like millions of members now.
What's that?
I'm pretty sure there's groups that have millions of members.
Probably.
I feel like Tony Robbins' group is like huge.
Let's see. How to make money. This is a private group and it's got 120,000 members in it.
Wow.
How to make money. Like, man, they got that covered. That's affiliate marketing for beginners. Public group. 10 posts a day, 10 plus posts a day, 10 posts a day. Make money online and work from home. This is a public group that has 139,000 members. Ways to make money. Make money on the internet.
Wow, 210,000.
That's pretty amazing. And it's a private group. I want to look at some of these mega groups and see how long they've been around and see what they're doing. I should do a case study on like mega audiences on Facebook. It's like, how do you
What
create
if
a giant group?
we tested this out? Like what kind of group name could we create that would be a relatively good fit for our audience?
Okay,
And we
this
just
is
create it, make it public, and like people join just because it's like, yeah, I want to know how to do that.
I know what I should do. I should highlight all these groups that I'm going to look at and then post it in all the groups that I'm in. Be like, I want to look at Facebook groups that have hundreds of thousands of members. Find out what they're doing. I'm going to do a case study on this. Who wants to be in on that call, or like, who wants to see what I find out or whatever? Do it, like, thinking about doing a case study on Facebook mega groups, mega audiences. How can you create a group that has like hundreds of thousands of members or tens of thousands of members if you're, not that good? It's like, wouldn't you like to fail and only have like 30,000 people in your group? Ooh. is there a way to say in a succinct way? It's like, fail your way to $1 million, or what I'm trying to say is like, what if you set the goal of being a billionaire and you only make like $20 million? It's like, sorry, you capped out. You can't go any further than that. It's like, well, I
You
would like
suck.
to feel that well. It's like,
Yeah.
how can you say it? It's like, let's all be failed billionaires.
I don't know.
$1 billion failures.
But I'm wondering if this could be a good strategy. If we can find a term or a headline that's catchy,
Mhm.
that would attract our audience and just create a free group with that and it grows itself. All we need to do is just monitor it and like, kick out people who are like, spamming and self-promoting and crap like that. And it's like, as long as we make sure that like it doesn't turn into one of those like groups where everyone just like posts their crap and no one pays attention to anything, like we don't really need to do much. And then when we're ready, we can go in. And since we're the group owners, we can promote our thing if we want.
$1 billion lessons. What you can learn from the most inexcusable business failures of the last 25 years.
Yeah, heirs.
I
Ye
hope
arse.
I hope
Ye
it's-
arse.
Oh,
Last
man.
25 ye arse.
Years. It's a pirate book.
Yep.
Now I'm really sad that it doesn't have that space on the actual book.
That would be amazing. Uh,
That would be a great lead magnet, like case studies of Facebook groups that have over 50,000 members.
but
Like,
I really,
I want to do that anyway. I want, like, how could I get? I should call.
dude,
Haley.
what if we create a Facebook group from billionaires or even just like millionaires, but it's like, hey, you need to be a millionaire to join. Like, if that's the point of the group.
Send us a screenshot of your bank account.
Like, okay, obviously there's no way of proving it, but it's like
Billionaires.
if we
only.
can create like an atmosphere where millionaires kind of and billionaires like come in and like hang out and share ideas or whatever, it's like if we're able to create that, we're creating like our network of successful people that we want to be connected with.
Look, billionaire club.
Yeah, sure. There's 187,000 billionaires in the world. That makes sense.
Let's look it up. How many billionaires?
I'm guessing like a couple
are
thousand,
there?
maybe. Like not. Yeah, that makes sense. Not 137,000 billionaires.
It's really funny. I was just watching Planet Earth 2 this morning, and he was talking about how islands are like a microcosm that kind of represent how all life everywhere works. And then he was highlighting the top of the food chain on islands, and he was saying how it's like there's only like a few thousand of this particular whatever. Anyway, it's just I was seeing some interesting similarities between like
I'm curious. I don't know if they have that stat online, but it's like if you take all the money owned by the billionaires of the world, what percentage of the entire world's wealth is that? So it's like how much of the existing money do billionaires own? Like how big of a chunk do they have? Like I'm assuming it's a lot.
3.5% of the world's wealth.
Only really? I thought it'd be more.
Yeah. And they only control that amount of wealth. Most ultra rich people don't actually own anything, just for tax purposes.
Yeah,
Like Elon Musk, like I think now on paper doesn't actually own any assets. It's like that doesn't mean a whole bunch of stuff isn't like trusts and companies and things aren't in his
Yeah.
name. So he has the say of what happens with all that stuff. But it's like he's gotten to the point where it's like I don't need to have anything or anything to belong to me to be able to like snap my fingers and the universe gives me exactly what I want. But it's funny when you look at the really successful people, it's like they don't hang on to things. It's all out there doing stuff, being productive.
speaking of being productive, are we being productive right now?
I should go schedule a call.
All right, so my goal today is going to be to try to hopefully finish setting up the funnel. Just like the basic structure, so we have all the pages and the basic layout is there.
Mhm.
I don't know how far I'll get because I'm not quite sure what we need, but it seems possible.
Yeah. Nice.
See, right there, this last comment could pretty much be a testimonial.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even have to be about the course. It's just
Mhm.
showing like, hey, you know what you're talking about. You provide
Yeah.
value. In fact, should you, I mean, I don't know who this person is, but would it make sense to ask like, hey, would you mind like, writing a short testimonial?
Yeah, totally could. That's one thing I try to do on my interviews is like I need to write a Zoom framework so that I remember to do everything, have a checklist. But
The Zoom
I
work.
started to try and ask people to describe where they were before we got on the call. And then now where are they at? So that's like, here's the before, here's the after, and that's like the little mini testimonial.
Like I've been sitting in the same spot the entire time. I didn't move. But yeah, like whenever you get a chance, like it doesn't need to be a focus right now, but I think like hopefully soon, I think you should start getting some testimonials and reviews and
Uh-huh.
feedback and stuff like that so we can use it once we get to the point where like, all right, let's, fill out the funnel.
Yeah.
Because the more we have, the better it is. I don't think we
Yeah.
can have too many.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I need to just start a swipe file with my own like social proof of stuff.
It's like, unfortunately, that's not something that I can do. By the way, did you look at the rest of the funnel that I created yesterday? Like, is there anything you think we should change or tweak?
I haven't looked at the rest of the pages yet. Center.
I thought that was on my end. I'm like, well, what's happening?
Why this? Oops.
And with things like that, like I think all you need to do is like, hey, can I, you know, use this comment as a testimony?
Mhm.
I think if the person's like, yep, because I've seen a lot of those, like those types of testimonials of just like a
Yeah.
screenshot of the conversation and that's it.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I just need to Yeah, just talk to as many people as we can in as short a period of time as possible to refine what we have and then start pitching it to groups of people as fast as we can. So I think that will help us actually do the part of, it's like, we're excited enough about it. That's like,
Yeah.
okay, we have some sense of what this problem is, enough that we can talk about it some semi-intelligently. And it's something that I can help people with. Now it's just a matter of like really dialing in what exactly is the problem that you want to solve. Let's strip away everything but just that one problem. And then really get you to quantify how valuable is solving that problem for you. And then the way that I'll solve it is we'll probably build you something around building a Facebook group that gets you clients. But the reality is like, as long as we can solve the problem for them of being overwhelmed and want to get their time back,
Mhm.
they don't care probably. It's like they might want something in that space. And that, I think that's where the market feedback is important. It's like they want that one problem solved, but people may have in their minds like they want the solution to come in a certain way. And so it's like, if you can solve that problem for them and then help them see that what your solution is will give them what they want. And if it's close enough to what they're expecting the solution will be, you get a buyer.
Yeah. If you have maybe like 5 minutes, can you just quickly go through the other steps in the funnel just to let me know? Because then I can go in and tweak things if I need to.
Yeah. Let's do it on here. Let's do a review.
So I include like all the steps in the funnel
Mayonnaise.
so far. So everything that comes after the webinar.
Okay.
Yeah, although it's probably best if you do full screen for this. Why isn't it loading? Is it your internet or is there a problem?
Probably my internet.
Oh, the underline's there, the text isn't there, but at least it's underlined.
Stop screen sharing. Refresh again. Get bigger. Turn off my video. Refresh.
I don't know if it'll make a difference, but I'll turn off mine.
There we go. I don't know what the deal is. So claim your scholarship now. There are only 9 spots available. Okay, so this is the main funnel.
Yeah, so I send you all the steps of the funnel in order. So there's the
Oh,
sales
gotcha.
page. It's pretty much exactly the same. I just added in the fast action bonus.
Okay.
And then the next one is the order form.
Claim your scholarship now. Claim your scholarship now, and all you pay is $9.97. 500 plus members in 30 days. The material is simple and easy to go through. Whoa, this guy went through the course 3 times and got 500 members each time. This must be really good if you're getting repeat buyers. Repeat millions. Wait, special one-time only offer.
Yeah, that we can definitely tweak. Like I just put, a filler offer for now.
Yeah. Add a second copy to my order now. That's a pretty proven, like, it's like just
Actually, that's the first upsell.
first
So
upsell.
it's on the next page.
One-time offer number 2. Wait,
Number
another
2.
special one-time offer.
It should be number 1. Maybe I sent it in the wrong order.
Yeah, this says 1 of 2. Oh. 1. one-time offer, 1, 2 for. Okay,
Yeah, I don't know, it's
I
just,
would-
it
so I
generated
would hit
random
this
like
one.
URLs, so.
So the second copy is the first one-time offer?
The one with the orange bar, that's halfway full is the first one-time offer.
Gotcha. Okay, and then that's the second one, and that's the money back warranty. And then,
Yeah, so number one is like buy a second copy for someone to get accountability and you can go through it together and everything. And then there's the extended or the money back warranty.
yeah. Watch
And
this.
297, it might be 197. I don't know. We'll have to figure out whatever price points makes more sense.
Mhm. Watch this important video.
Which is kind of you just explaining like, hey, thanks for buying everything. Like,
Mhm.
here's the order details down below. You can click on the, I mean, there's like now it's empty because we didn't actually purchase anything, but there's going to be the product price that they bought, like the product that they bought, the price. I think if they get upsells, it's going to appear here also.
Uh-huh.
And then underneath, there's going to be like a clickable text that says like, click here to access your course.
Uh-huh.
And that will like, once I set it up, it'll redirect them to their like course or like login page / create an account page. I don't really know exactly how that works yet, but that's the principle.
I like it. So now we just need to start filling in. So maybe what we should actually do is,
But overall, like for the look of it and the layout and stuff like that, is there anything you think we should change?
not really. I mean, I've seen uglier funnels that make way more money than we do. So I'm
True.
like, I am not a good judge of what is gonna sell or not. I think what's more important is the language and the outcome that we communicate through the text and the videos on each page. I think that's way more important. Like having the structure and built out is going to be the one-time offer. Get 30 done for you, ready to publish posts and hit the ground running and start getting immediate results from. Cool. I like that bump. I forget what I was saying. It's probably not important. But yeah, yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm gonna go schedule some calls with people and tell them what we're working on. But what I was gonna say is maybe what we should do is actually, now that we have the structure of the funnel in place, literally just create a Google form or survey that's like, here's all of the basic block elements. So it's like, we know we need a headline or a big idea. It's like, need more information. Like, what do they need to know about the course? Like, what are they asking to know? And then what would make it really valuable? Like, what kind of other stuff could we bundle with it? It's like, what sort of bonuses would help you be like, oh, dude, I need this like tomorrow then, if you're gonna do all of that. And then how much would it cost? Like, just literally have a checklist of all of the stuff that we need to fill out this funnel, and then just ask people that. So it's like, here's the offer, here's what we're building right now. It's like, what do you think? Be like, well, okay. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions? Like, just to so I can understand better, like what I can improve. And then just go down the list of like, so tell me what you think the offer is. Like, tell me what you're looking for. And then, have a place where it's like they could even do a testimonial. It's like, this sounds amazing, or this would make such a big difference in my business. Ask them what kind of guarantees they need. And then like all of the upsells, like bumps and stuff, like what are some of the things that would make this like really good? It's like, do you want accountability? Do you want templates? Do you want whatever, it's like, would it be worth, and then just like have that form be something that we just kind of have as notes, and we kind of fill that out every time we talk to somebody. Every time we do like a live presentation, it's like we're just taking down the feedback and then look at that stuff and figure out like, how do we want to incorporate this feedback or not based on what we're planning to do.
I have an idea.
Hmm.
What if we offered people like a discount? What if we offered like a field where they can input a discount code, and in the webinar, or like every time we present it, it's like we present everything, we pitch it, we sell it at the end. It's like, okay, if you want an extra 10% discount, go fill out this questionnaire so we can help, you can help us tweak the course and we'll make it even better with time. So it's like, it's incentivizing. And if it's 10%, it's like, okay, whatever. It's like $100, $50 each that we're like making less. But it's like, if we can get feedback and make the offer even better, we can eventually take that offer away, but we'll have perfected it because we have all that feedback.
Yeah.
So it's like in the beginning, it would definitely be good, but I'm thinking like even once we launch this, we could still have that feature and keep tweaking it.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's not really a big deal. It's not really that important. So not something we need to focus on necessarily right now. All right, so I guess I'll go in and build out the rest of the funnel, which would be registration page for the webinar, the confirmation page, and I mean, there's the webinar playroom, which we'll fill out once it's automated. I don't know if we can build that out in ClickFunnels and connect it with a webinar service. I'm not really sure how that works.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll look into that. All right, then. I think we're on the right track.
Cool. All right.
Anything else?
I don't think so. I'm gonna try and schedule some calls then.
All right. And I would suggest also, if you get a chance, maybe like post in a few groups that you think there's a right audience, like would be a good fit for our audience, and kind of like do that strategy of, okay, we're creating a course to help these people with, you know, this result, or maybe just help these people in their business or whatever. It's like, we're looking for people to tell us exactly what they need help with so we can help them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like once we get a few people and we start getting feedback, that's when we really start getting an idea of what we need to create exactly for the sales copy.
Ooh. Just had a thought.
It's funny because you appeared just as I was hovering over the video, because I'm like, it's weird not seeing him. So I was about to restart it and then you just appeared.
If you had to say, okay, so if we're gonna launch this at the end of the month, I mean, if that's our big goal, what's the metric that we should be like, we should have done something every day on this? Like, what's the simple way to say it? Like, we know we moved the ball forward. Because just talking is like, I don't want to have another day like the other day where it's like, yeah, we came up with all this stuff and then like actually none of it was helpful. And it was just like the work that we did that we ended up feeling like, oh, that was the part that was the valuable part. So like, how do we make sure we're measuring, are we doing this is what we're doing for the next 30 days? And is it just talk to somebody and put the offer in front of them and ask them for their feedback? Is 30 people enough? Or is it like talk to like 2 people a day for a week and then build stuff out and talk about it in front of groups? Or anyway, go ahead and talk. There was another piece to it and I forgot.
I mean, I don't know. For me right now, it's like I need to finish building out the funnel. I need to figure out, all right, how do we do the webinar? Can we just use Zoom? Do we need a special software? Do we plug it into ClickFunnels directly? And then I need to connect all the buttons and make sure that everything works. So then once like everything's set up, we get to the point where all we need to do is fill in the copy, record the videos and insert those. So it's like, that's going to take me at least a couple days, maybe a week. Like, I don't know. I've never done this before, so I don't know how much setup work it's going to require.
Mhm.
But for me, it's just every day, it's like get as much done as I can moving towards that goal.
Mhm.
And I think for you, it's like if you can post and have conversations with as many people as you can and start understanding what do they need, what do they want, what are they struggling with, then we can kind of go in and get to the point where it's like, all right, the funnel's built out. We know what the audience wants. Let's
Yeah.
go in and write the copy and fill out the funnel. So it's like if we give ourselves, let's say, a week to finish building the funnel and you doing the research and talking to people and figure out, all right, these are the basic things that people need help with
Mhm.
and they want, then we can be like, all right, the next week is we sit down and we come up with the scripts for the webinar. We come up with the scripts and these like for the videos and the funnel, and we come up with a sales copy. Like we should be able to do that in a week. So let's say a week from now, the funnel is done and the research is done. That would be on the 13th. A
Mhm.
week after that, the video should be done. Like the funnel should be completely fully built out, and that would be the 20th. And that gives us like a week and a half after that before the end of the month. So it's like technically, if everything goes according to plan, we should be ready to launch and start selling on the 20th. But we have like a week and a half of wiggle room because things are probably going to take longer and there are going to be other things that we're going to have to do.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you, or do you think there's a different strategy that would work better?
No, okay. What I was thinking is, whatever we do, I think it would be good to have like a summary of this is what we completed. And I think I'm gonna take a chunk of time at the end of the day to do like a review. So it's like if I've talked with somebody, I'm like gonna go back over the conversation or the notes and be like, oh, this was the pain point, this was the objection, or this was the desire, this was the what they wanted. And then create all of that stuff into like just a documentation post. It's like I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything. Be like, all right, Guillaume and I are working on this thing. Maybe I'll just post it in CrowdScale and get other people's feedback since they're all kind of interested in building, launching products and stuff. Not necessarily to sell them, but just to like have somewhere where I'm like, I'm organizing it for other people. That's like a step in the process. And so like every day we're kind of like doing something structured and useful with the information that we're gathering.
Yeah.
That way, if essentially we'll have like this big bank of stuff that can go into the funnel, but we're actually using the momentum of what we're doing. It's like we're putting stuff out there a little bit at a time, and people who are close enough to us that might want to buy or that trust us enough to be like, they'll see us making some.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. There's two steps. There's like the research section, like portion, and then there's the sharing portion.
Mhm.
And I think that's the principle that like a lot of influencers use when they're launching a course of like they talk about it for weeks in advance of like, hey, I'm building this out. Like this is like one of the things that I recently learned while doing this. And it's like you share the process so that by the time that you launch it, people are like, oh, it's finally launched. Like they know what's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good idea.
Cool. All right, so the metrics for me are talk to people and get actual feedback on the offer. Document what we learned. and then share it. Like I've got to do those three things. So it's like get feedback, document it, and then share that feedback. And then in the process of putting that out there, I'm connected enough that some people will be watching and like,
Mhm.
oh, you should do this, or like, oh man, I wish you were doing like providing this, or it's like
Yeah.
whatever the market responds, like just being available to hop on to conversations with that. Oh, well, what would make this better? And I have one group that I have about 500 people in that I know when they're interacting and engaging. I don't know what that is in the Freedom Initiative, but maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I think
And
this is enough that we can like,
yeah,
what we've worked out ourselves, we've got enough raw material. So if we have in-person conversations with people like, oh yeah, we talked about like this and this, or like, I'm listening for the things that we've talked about in terms of ways to say the pain points. And so then we're just collecting the ways to say it and what people actually want.
mhm. And I feel like,
We might actually discover people don't want this, but like stumble on a different thing that's like they're ready to buy yesterday. Who knows?
true. And the thing is, like, the funnel is built out. So even if we ended up completely changing the course, doesn't really matter because we just
Yeah.
created the outline for the course. We didn't actually create the course yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was coming up for me is like, I was thinking, should I do the same thing on my end? Should I like share and everything? But I'm like, I didn't build an audience. Like most people on my friends list on Facebook are actual friends and
Yeah.
people and stuff like that. So it's like they wouldn't be interested. And at the same time, I feel like it would just be a distraction for me. I think it's better if I just
Yeah.
like them focusing on the funnel and like being my own bubble.
Yeah.
And it's we both do what we do best, you know?
Mhm. That sounds good.
All right.
How do you feel about like where we're at today versus what we were doing the last few days? I feel like we've shifted a little bit in terms of like intentionality.
Yeah, I think like before we were maybe a little too focused on the mechanics.
Mhm.
And after a conversation yesterday, I think that started the shift of like, we just like, yes, okay, we need the mechanics, but people don't care about the mechanics.
Mhm.
All we need to figure out is what do people want? How can we convey that message to them?
Right.
And then we just deliver on the promise.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, like if people say that they have something that they're willing to buy like right now and it's something we can't do, we can go find somebody who will do it. It's like if it's a big enough market need and they're willing to pay enough money to solve that problem, it's like we don't have to be the guys doing it.
Yeah.
If it's like I will pay $5,000 to cross that off of my worries right now, be like, all right, I'll sign you up today and I'll go find the best guy to handle that.
Yeah, I feel good with where we are.
Me too.
I feel like it doesn't really change at least what I'm doing because I still need to build out the funnel, but it's like from the business strategy perspective, I think we're way better off now than we were yesterday before we started talking.
Yeah. I think my goal is going to be how do I saturate all the people that I could talk to like directly, reach out to and message directly, and then post in the couple of groups that I'm present in and on my profile. And then beyond that, then I think it'll be I mean that should be enough. Like honestly, like
Yeah, we don't need like
people
100 people.
within
If we have like
arm's reach.
5, 10 people, just provide good feedback of like, hey, this is what I'm struggling with my business. This is what I need help with. Like, I think that'll be good enough.
Yeah, because I think you're right. I think you're right. It's if we just ask our circle and dial in the thing so it's right, and then go on a cycle of like if we get it to where people are actually willing to buy and then just keep going out into other like newer audiences and promote it and refine it, do the that like perfect webinar approach of it's like how fast can you promote it in front of new people, and then or maybe we just do it with the first group. It's like we do a launch, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, so if we're gonna charge $1,000, if it's gonna be $1,000 for this program, it's like, what would make this worth $10,000 that you would pay $1,000? Hell yes, like I'm ripping you off because of what I'm getting. It's like, I'll pay $1,000 to be happy about it if you guys can deliver XYZ. So
Ooh,
then,
oh man, asking that question is so valuable because they're literally telling you,
yeah,
what do I need to what do I need to put in front of you for you to buy?
yeah. And then if it's $1,000 a person and we get, I don't know, let's say we don't quite get enough for 2 cohorts. It's like we get 19 customers. So that's about $19,000, maybe a little less than $19,000. And then with transaction fees, let's call it 15. So $15,000.
7,500.
If we split it 50 with group owners, assuming that we did that,
Yeah.
that's like 3750 for split 4 ways. So like for you and me, each of us would get paid. So if we get less than 20 if we get not quite 20 customers, and I feel like if we're asking people for the feedback, like what would make this worth $1,000? And I've paid more than $1,000 for like other stuff that's
sucks.
So,
Yep.
so I feel like this is possible. And it might be a little like stumbly, herky jerky, like to get the first version of this where people are actually consistently buying. But like once people are buying, then it's just a matter of like build out the product and we'll polish it and like get people to, tweak it and whatever. But like it's just promote until we know that anytime I do this presentation, we get buyers. If we know that we can get buyers every time the presentation is made, then you can spend money to get people in front of the presentation.
Mhm.
If we know that the average customer value is going to be at least $1,000, like you can start doing the math on the business and scale it at that point. But I feel like the what to do right now, right in front of us, is simple. We just need to do it, and I'm just gonna do it. I'm not even gonna wait till I get off the call because I know like half the motivation to do this is gonna be like, all right. All right. Cool. David Henderson. Who all is in my group? Group Slancha, blah, blah, blah. Agni. Haley. Justin, yep.
All right, so we have an 8-page funnel.
Woohoo!
So we have the webinar registration page, webinar confirmation page, webinar replay room, which, or live room, depending on what we're doing. Then the sales page, order form, one-time offer 1, one-time offer 2, and confirmation page. Oh, and then we're going to need to build out the membership area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, unless we're using a different platform for that.
For what?
Because we're probably thinking of using a different platform for hosting the course, because ClickFunnels is very limited.
Hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, right now things are live, so it's like they don't really need
Yeah.
access to that yet. It's not an
Yeah, I
issue.
feel like the first version of this, like we can do it as a pop-up group in Facebook, and then like
Yeah, it's like once the course launches, we'll email you and you can create an account and you'll have access to everything.
yeah, exactly. It's like the live version, we can do it like with people as they're doing it, and then the course version, like all of the videos and stuff, we can collect, we can put them in the right containers. Look at like what's the best automated way to host a course that actually gets people to do it.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested to see maybe like do a relaunch or like an official, it's like, hey, we're our first, like our pilot group, did this course, here's some of the results, buy it and then do the course, but then maybe do a one-time, it's like, this will be the last time we ever do it live, and do them, maybe
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it concurrently and see, or maybe not even concurrently, it's like just test to see what the completion rate is as a course versus when we did it live.
Mm.
And then maybe try doing another live like in 6 months and see what people like, how
Yeah, true.
engaged people. I don't know. Not super important right now.
True. All right, so do you need me here to do work, or can I hop
Nope.
off? And go pee?
I'm just writing a message right now. I've tagged 1, 2, 3, 4 people that are in the group. And I'll hit send as soon as I'm finished typing this out. But I'm good. Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks for the chat, and thanks for being my business partner. I'm really enjoying this
Yeah.
process.
You're welcome. Oh, I'm gonna share the document that I'm working on with you. So this is gonna be shared copy, done. So this is gonna be the place where I'm just like, any feedback that I get that is like, this is a way to say, reduce overwhelm or get my time back or make my business simpler. That's where I'm putting it. So if it's like a clever thing that I think of, like in terms of copy, or if it's actual feedback from a person, that's where I'm going to put this stuff. It's like, what is the 1,000,001 ways to say the one thing we're trying to say with our sales page? And what we might actually find is that as we talk to more people, we realize that the actual problem we're trying to solve is different than what we've been trying to say. And so I'm going to try as much as I can to come in like without leading them and without like preconceptions of what the thing is. But like what I want to do is get from them, what is it that you actually need? would pay $1,000 for like right now.
Yeah. Is there any way you can put that in the 5 minutes Facebook group Word, or sorry, Google Drive document so we can easily access
Yeah,
everything in sync?
let me move it. I forgot that we had that folder. Move to 5-minute Facebook groups. Yeah, I probably have some other documents I should throw in there too then.
All right, sounds good.
Sweet.
All right, well, good luck with your work.
All righty.
And I need to remember to drink today. That's my focus. All right, well, talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Take care, man.
You too. Bye.
I'm super glad we're doing this business together.
Yeah, me too. I'm really looking forward to seeing, like, in 6 months, a year, like, where will we have gotten? you
Yeah.
know?
Okay, well, I'm gonna be, we've already figured out the what to do is actually talk to people and get feedback, but I'm really interested to see that's the goal. And it's like, we're operating from a different level of, it's like, okay, we don't know what the market wants. And so we got to go talk to the market. It's like, this is the millionaire version of how you do this. But I'm really, part of me, like a small part of me is like, I want to see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. I want to see where we get to by the end of the month. Another part of me is like, I've been manifesting so many like little stupid things in my life. Like little stuff that's like, well, I was just the other day, I was walking past on the way to the park. We take the girls every day. I'm walking down the street. I'm like, there are so many shitty fences like that are falling down and need fixed. I'm like, I should start a fencing company. Like I could just listen to music as I like slowly put up a fence and people don't care. They just want their fence fixed. I'm like, actually what I should do is outsource it to a fencing company, just knock on people's doors who have bad fences and be like, do you want a new fence? And then I was like, actually, I should build my own business that I've been working on for 80 hours instead of doing you. And I was like, okay, that's done. So I let go of the outcome.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then today I was walking past so this is just like a few days ago. Today I was walking past and was like, somebody is getting a brand new fence being put in on the street, like literally a spot where I had that idea, actual spot, like the house that I was like, they need a new fence. It's
That's
like
awesome.
they went and paid somebody money to get a new fence put up. And I'm like, there's little moments like this all the time that I'm like, I feel like I'm paying more attention to like the stuff that's kind of like flowing through my mind, but like also things that's like happening in the environment around me. I'm like, if I can just bring that energy to the table, it's like I'm paying close attention to what actually needs to happen or that's about to happen, and just like get in positions. Like, all right, I'm ready to catch. Where's the $1 million? It's like that's what
All right.
we're building like a catcher's mitt for the millions of dollars that are just like flying around.
It's funny because I was gonna say, what if we put the intention that the funnel generates $1 million by the end of the year? But then I'm like, we don't need to because we already set the intention for $1 million like a couple months ago when we were first talking about that.
Mhm.
So yeah, we don't need to do that. We're good.
Yeah.
We just need to exist as the people, as the millionaire version of ourselves,
Yeah.
and the rest will happen by itself.
Well, we've already established this is like a $5 million business.
Was it 5 or 10? I forget.
Well, I said
Oh, it was,
I wanted one of those like 10x
yeah, so it was 5 each.
and
Yeah.
it's like $5 each
Yeah.
because I'm like, I mean, $5 million.
$5? I guess once you're a millionaire, it's like 5 million, $5. Who cares?
Yeah, it's like at that point, you're like, I don't do money anymore outside that system. Oh, That's what it is. So the same way that you do really hard stuff, and then you're like, I did that. I don't really need to do that anymore. It's like, as long as you operate under the assumption it's like, I need money. It's like I don't have enough money. It's like, I need money to do the things that I want. It's like, you're in this game of like learning how to make money. But as soon as you shift into, it's like, I don't need money, or like, I'm a millionaire. I've done that. Like, I don't need that game anymore. It's like, then you're outside of that. It's like, I've had that experience. So it's like, I did the hard thing of like, making way more money than anybody ever really needs to have. It's like, cool, I did that. I don't really need to do it again. But it's like, at that point, you've built the skill of like being able to do that. So as long as you also build the skill of maintaining or like caring for something that you own. And I think that's the thing. It's like, people sometimes find success early in their life. They make a bunch of money because they're in the right time, right place, but they don't then go and build the skill. Like, how do I create a container for this? How do I like, it's like, you got to close the bread bag. Otherwise it's going to get moldy or dry out or whatever. You know, it's like, how do you now protect what you have? And that's what people who win the lottery, it's like, they have no idea what to do with that. And so it all goes away. And so that, I think that's the next challenge. Or you could do it right now. It's like, the money that you have, it's pay your bills, do your taxes. It's like, learn that skill a little bit at a time. So when you have money coming in, it's like, you're already learning that process. But it's like, that's what we're doing right now. It's like, we're slowly, like, we've already become the kind of people who's like, we don't need this. We're doing this for fun. But it's like, maintaining, like, this is what it takes to do that. And then once we get on the other side of it, like, that's why people who have lots of money are like, act like they don't need money, because they don't, because they've had that experience of like accumulating. And then it's like, I don't need to exist in that version of me anymore. So in a sense, it's like, you've been training for this like your whole life.
Also, this isn't really related, but it's just it reminded me of that. A couple of days ago, because like I subscribed to like a house, or not subscribed, but I purchased access to a website where you can get house sitting gigs. And the thing is, a lot of them, like, there's very few in Central and South America. Most of them are like in, North America or in Europe or in Asia too. And I'm just like, all right, even if there's these amazing places that I can stay for free, it's still going to cost me like a lot of money to fly there. So I'm like, I can't afford. So I'm like, I need to make money so I can afford to fly to stay places for free. But it's like, by the time I can afford the flight, I can afford to pay to stay somewhere. So I don't need to stay somewhere for free. And it's like, well, that's kind of ironic when you think about it. It's like, I don't really know what that has to do with what you were saying. It's just, it came up for some reason.
Yeah, man.
Although I feel like I'd be the type of person to do that. I'd be like a millionaire. It's like, I'll fly anywhere. I'll just stay in your home, take care of your pets just for the fun of it. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that's the trajectory that we're on.
Yeah. So it's sort of like, that's the experience we're going to have. But in some senses, like, we've already become those people. We just have to maintain and have the consistency, like maintain the integrity throughout until the completion of like whatever time span it takes for us to manifest the rest of reality around us to match where we're at. And I think always coming back to this space of like, what is the millionaire versions of us do, instead of just like going on autopilot, which is like, we just like talking and having fun. It's like, okay, that is a version of us, which I don't want to like let go of, but I'm like, in order to bring about that reality, it's like, I need to be that guy, the millionaire guy. It's like, okay, so what does that guy do? How does that person operate with everything that I have absorbed and have access to, which I've been pouring all kinds of information in here for a long time. So it's like, I have access to as much or more than people who have made lots and lots of money.
Mhm.
So I just need to start channeling that in this particular way.
It's funny because the last few days, I'm like, every time we have a conversation, I feel like I'm wasting my time. Like I could be building the funnel right now. But then like we have conversation like this and we're like, okay, this was useful because we're way more clear on what we need to do and how to be effective to create the business. But it's like,
Right.
it's still part of me is like, part of me sees this as a waste of time, but another part's like, no, we need this. It's important.
Mhm. Yeah, I think this is the difference between people who like grind and they're like, I worked so hard on this course, I worked so hard on this funnel, and like nobody's buying it because
Yeah.
like you made what you thought you needed. And sometimes your hunches are good. Sometimes your hunches are like, you are the ideal customer. But I think very often, like we don't actually have as good a grasp on the market as we seem to think.
I just realized something. We need to stop grinding and start using Grinder. We got to be gay because we don't need to do the grinding ourselves. We need other people who are grinders who do that. So it's like, yeah, okay, we need to use the gay approach to business. Uh,
Oh man.
that was my joke of the day.
Okay. Well, go finish my message and see if I can get on a call with some folks
All right.
later.
Thanks for the chat.
Yeah, absolutely.